Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Project. We are back with a wrestling pay-per-view.
Yep.
Was we? I don't remember.
Which one?
What do you want to talk about?
Nice.
Shall we talk about everything with the exception of SmackDown from the last week? Because
I watched
we're
Ring
here
of Honor Supercard of Honor, and it was probably the best pay. No.
Was it any good?
No, not everything. Not everything.
Was it?
Did
you watch any of that?
WWE stuff. I did actually. It wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't.
But yes, it's been Mania weekend and it's been busy, and I am very tired. I annoyingly am no longer ill, but I still have this voice. And no, Pete, this is. I saw your brain ticking.
It kind of is.
It's really not far off the normal.
I'm very sorry. Apparently, I'm just not even talking English. I'm very struggling with actually getting words vocalized. The podcast I thought was a great idea.
Yeah.
Right, SmackDown. Mania's SmackDown.
I mean, let's not just limit it to SmackDown. Let's lead it. Let's.
No. We'll get to the next bit. That's fine.
Well, no. What I mean is, if we're going to start with SmackDown, rather than just starting with SmackDown, let's start with the build as well, like prior to SmackDown, and then with SmackDown as well. So obviously, we can include things like the attack that The Rock did with Cody, and the build up there, and how that's been going on, and all the way back from when Cody won the Rumble.
We'll get all of that later in the podcast. In all fairness, as we go through those matches, but SmackDown was a weird one this year. I found because everything was done. It was all organised. Everything had been booked. There was no more storytelling to be finished. It's like to me, SmackDown this week felt like it's like.
It was the Andre Giant Battle
We thought
Royal
Mania was
for me,
supposed to be this week.
Yeah.
Like we thought Mania was supposed to have been and gone by now, but yeah.
The other one thing was the Battle Royal for me. It just big gutties moment, which was fair.
We did get a big change on SmackDown. In all fairness, Dragon Lee got taken out of the tag match. Like no, it may not be the biggest thing for us. It was a big thing. Andrade turned on Judgment Day and turned face. And ended up siding with Ray, so that was a big thing that happened on SmackDown.
Yeah, that one bad. But yeah,
It wasn't Judgment Day, wasn't it? Legado, he turned on.
Well, no, because it was supposed to be joining Judgment Day. Like he'd been touted to join Judgment Day, and he turned on. It was
turning
Santos, but it was Santos and Dom.
Yeah.
Dom is Judgment Day. So.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Dom's new friend that he was supposed to have recently made, and he was going to bring into. Well, he doesn't anymore. He hates him, so he's now with his dad, which is quite good. I think that'll be a good thing for Andrade. I think having Andrade alongside Rey Mysterio cannot hurt. Maybe that builds into something.
More catalyst for the inevitable Carlito turn that we've all been pitching, that we all thought was going to happen over the weekend, and maybe still did. We haven't got to the weekend yet.
I remember you spotting a recurring pattern as well. The people who have been turning on Ray are people who haven't been chosen to tag with him.
Mm-hmm.
And you're questioning, is Ray the problem?
Yeah, so obviously Ray chose Edge over Dom, at which point Dom turned on Ray. Ray chose Carlito over Santos, at which point Santos turned on him, and now Ray has chose Andrade over, well, Dragon Lee and Andrade over Carlito, so it seems like it's probably a matter of time.
But there was more to that angle, weirdly. But I don't think that's going to carry on. But we'll get to that sort of people that are joining to help in that angle.
No, that was just a Mania moment.
It was weird, but it was good. Yeah, like that.
But yeah, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal supposed to have had Andrade in, supposed to have had Gable in, like it was all advertised that they were all in it, and they just weren't.
I think they made the right choice with that, though. It's giving Biggie's push.
It was the only way. It was the only way Bronson would win.
So
and
it
it
works.
makes sense. Yeah, it would have been a bit I think it was foreshadowed really for Andrade to win it with the way that he was marketed already with the match. I think even without him in there, they still did the thing of the entrances for only the select few who had the remotest chance of winning.
Yeah.
So we had with obviously Big got an entrance, Omos I think got an entrance.
Ricochet got an entrance.
Ricochet got an entrance.
It was Ricochet that was one of the main boys that got an entrance. I don't think Amos even got one. Just
yeah.
mental.
Either way, it foreshadowed it a little bit too much for me. Unfortunately, with it being on SmackDown as well, there was adverts during the match,
which we had eliminations of, which was Omos being eliminated.
Yeah. We missed crucial eliminations during that. And
pretty deadly.
That was Creed Brothers.
Creed Brothers.
Yeah, pretty deadly.
But I remember,
pretty much went straight out.
But I remember coming away from that and thinking I was quite disappointed with the Battle Royal, and I mean, you all know I love Battle Royals. I think they're great. I think they're fantastic. They tell a great story, and it's always fun to watch a Battle Royal. But I think because of the way that one was booked and the way it was done, it was probably one of the worst Battle Royals I've watched.
Well, it seems to be the recurring theme as well. That's the way that they're doing it. That Andre the Giant Battle Royal's just dead.
But it's not the fact that it's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
No, but what I'm saying,
last year's Andre the Giant Battle Royal wasn't that bad.
I don't think any have been good. I personally just get rid of the whole thing, if I'm honest.
Do you know
They've got rid of the women's one now. Just get rid of the men's one too.
No, stick it as a pre-show on Mania.
Well, that's it. What's the point? What's the point of having it on SmackDown if they're having their Mania moments?
Exactly. Stick it as a Mania. It was a nice little thing for the crowd to do before the Mania started. It was a nice little filler bit for the crowd. Do it there again.
Yeah. I'd be at least worth something. Then.
It has no value. Is 2 hours, so it's not as if they haven't got time to do it.
Yeah, it has no value being on much really.
Nope.
Can we just talk about Akira Tozawa and
we genuinely thought he was dead.
That was.
It was pretty scary moment. He got launched from the ring by
Bronson, I think it was.
Was it Bronson?
I think it was because Otis had already gone out, so it was late on.
Otis was out.
It was a big boy launching Tozawa to another big boy.
I think it might have been Ivan. It was one of the big lads, but he got launched so far that he kind of misjudged the landing point, I think, and went over Otis and collided with the floor more than anything, didn't he? Face first, and his body hit the barricade afterwards. It was pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. But from all we've seen, I've not seen any major reports to say he was injured or anything.
No, it would have been out if there was anything wrong.
He seems to be okay, thank God. So
yeah,
he is made of rubber.
But from a rather SmackDown straight into a rather spectacularly good induction on Hall of Fame.
Best, my favorite ever.
Yeah. We had, because this was the first Hall of Fame under the Paul Levesque era, although he doesn't like us calling it that. He wanted to have someone, or they wanted to be inducted first as the very first person Triple H inducted. So we had Paul Heyman being inducted first.
Perfect.
The headline being inducted first. It's a bit of a strange scenario, that one, isn't it?
I've seen a lot of hate since about that, and
because
about the fact that he went in first and not last.
Great.
I get the logic of him being the first guy, but also at the same time I'm like, but you could have just said he was the first headline guy.
No, I like it.
Personally, I preferred the pacing of having him in first, of having the big guy in first, because it meant that he was able to go over his time, which he did.
Yeah.
And they shortened it from the people that, it's going to sound terrible, but the people that we didn't really care about that much.
But my issue with it massively is the fact of, and I heard it all the way through the show, the crowds just talked all the way through other people's inductions, and I'm a bit like, I think you don't get that as much if you have the headline where he should be at the end. I'm hoping this is the one off this year, and I'm hoping next year is back to normal and there'll be no issues.
Do you know what I think that is? I think it's because we're now using the SmackDown crowd for Hall of Fame as opposed to having its own venue like it used to have.
Yeah,
Because when it
I
used to have
can't-
its own
can't
venue, it had
help
that specialist. It had that special feel to it, and people treated it as an award, an event, and people used to dress for it. People used to dress specially for it, and treat it with that level of reverence and respect. That because now it's a SmackDown crowd.
Yeah,
They're there to watch wrestling. They're not there to listen to a bunch of old folks talk about wrestling that they've never seen and don't care about.
yeah.
My big thing with that as well is don't forget it's a SmackDown crowd with you buy the SmackDown ticket, you get a Hall of Fame ticket. That's a long old show.
It is.
And instead of people leaving towards the end, they want the headline to have the crowd that's still there. You're going to keep, if you put on 5 or 6 people that no one's really interested after a long day anyway, people will start to leave. Keep the headliners there, it's packed. And then if people do still want to head off, make their way out, they can do because it's a long old day anyway for them. A long weekend.
At the start
Yeah,
of a
and
long weekend, yeah.
I get that. I get that part, but I don't know. I felt bad for the other people that are being put into the Hall of Fame because it was blatant.
They weren't given
It was
the same
very
level of
obvious as to what
respect.
how it was been done. Yeah,
To be fair, they've still been in the Hall of Fame. And they will still get a lot of those probably wouldn't expect to be even getting into the Hall of Fame.
but my issue becomes at what point does then that make the Hall of Fame mean bugger all? Because it becomes this disrespected thing. It becomes this thing that's an afterthought for SmackDown. Do you see what I mean? Like it
I know
should
what
be
you
its
mean.
own thing. It shouldn't
It
be
should
an
definitely go
after.
back to
It
being
shouldn't be
its
an
own.
afterthought, which is
Yeah.
exactly how this whole thing felt. If I'm honest.
Yeah, after being after a SmackDown, it's gonna be like that.
It should definitely go back to being its own thing and be on. The problem is timing and when to
And
put it. Like they
the
haven't
sales
got
didn't
the
work.
time over that weekend. I don't think
think
they ever
they
struggled with the
just-
sales.
I know where to put it.
Yeah, we've got an idea of where it can go.
Scrap something and put it there.
The very
Well,
next afternoon.
because the problem is obviously they treat it like a party as well. So after the Hall of Fame, people tend to drink. So you definitely ain't putting it in the afternoon, the day before Mania, on the day of a Mania.
Well, this is it. Why? Because it used to be on a Thursday, didn't it?
Yes and no. So it was on a Thursday, but also SmackDown used to be on a Thursday, and it used to be on a Friday when SmackDown was on a Thursday.
But this is it. Why not put it on a Thursday and then actually, incorporate the people that are in Hall of Fame into your other shows a bit better? Be like, okay, right. For example, this year, obviously Heyman is active, so it's slightly different. But you have your Bull Nacarnos. Just
Sorry.
Jesus, Tish. Paul Nakano just turns up for a segment on NXT
I get it.
or SmackDown, or even appear like in a small segment on Mania. But don't
I
use
think
them
the
all.
only concern
Just
with
use a
that
few, and
is-
it's just like, oh yeah, that's a nice touch, and then they can talk about the Hall of Fame again, and they talk about the Hall of Fame. The commentators talk about the Hall of Fame again, and it just feels like it feels like it's something worth being in. Then
The only thing I'd say to that is then it starts. You've got to start looking at it becoming a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday event, a 5-day event. And for people to attend all of them, that starts
It's a
to
lot.
really
It's
build
a
up.
lot, yeah.
It's
but at the same
awkward
time,
enough sometimes. For you,
You're
but
gonna
if
need
fans do it, they're going to
5 days
do
to
it.
recover.
at the
But
same
some
time,
fans do it anyway.
this is it. Most of the fans are already in the city before Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Make it the first
just
thing they
another
go and
event.
do. They get into the city. They drop their stuff at the hotel. They go and get themselves all the ones that buy tickets. They go and get themselves dressed up nice and smart. They make it a nice event thing, though you don't have people turning up in green t-shirts and shorts. Like it becomes an actual creation of its own thing.
Yeah,
It
I
actually
can
makes
see-
it worthwhile of people's legacies. That they don't just have some guy wearing a crappy Judgment Day t-shirt, for example. Not picking
I
on
think
Judgment Day, but it's just like it's not sane.
There's a lot of very highly paid, very smart people that sit and do the research to figure out when these things are going to be on, etc. I think that this is something that, especially under Triple H, who has a lot of respect for the history of the business, will be changed within the
I hope
next couple
so.
of years.
Yeah.
I very much don't see it continuing the way it does.
'Cause it
I
does
can
feel
see
like
it
in a bit of a
going back to how it
nosedive.
was.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
But either way, Heyman's speech was terrific, wasn't it?
Very, very good.
Really
Very, very
good, really well. And I will, in fact, the whole thing felt really well structured in terms of the people and the time the length they were given, the way that the inductions were done nicely, that the people inducting it weren't too long with their speeches. They did just kind of move on quite quickly. We had the speeches and it was great. Great. I didn't know who half of them were, don't get me wrong.
He gave a little insight to the people before I've seen that people inducted. It was like I don't know anything about them, but the build up to the induction, it told us enough this time as well to kind of go, okay, fair enough. They seem like they had a big part because we weren't the all of them.
It was nice that we had Steph there for a start.
Yep.
It was nice that there was.
Yeah, she was.
Steph was at Hall of Fame with her hat, her cap on, her ECW cap, which was the wrong colour ECW sign, but. We'll ignore that.
No, it was she owned ECW.
Yeah, but it wasn't her. My point is, it wasn't her
ECW
hat. It wasn't her original. It was a different colour logo.
Yeah.
It was nice that we had Heyman talking about Cody and Cody's dad. It was nice that there was a bit of in character stuff, but there was also the actual people side of things. It was.
I think if Heyman's very much in character 24/7 anyway, so it's
hard
borderline.
It's hard to tell it's hard to tell what on earth he's up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, him mentioning Brock, that was a big shock.
Yep.
In terms of because of the fact of WWE completely writing him off, they mentioned he was the manager for the 21-1.
And refused to show a picture. So
it was kind of cool. No mention of him.
We was a bit gutted for that, and then to hear his voice right after, it was like, okay, thank. That's at least there's something.
But it's funny because we're not funny, but it's sort of like Brock got the mention, but he refused. He did refuse to mention Vince. In all fairness, which and he went to sort of go towards it, and he never actually said it. Whereas Brock Lesnar obviously did this whole thing of Brock, and I thought,
yeah. It was nice for Brock to get a mention.
The problem is Brock is such a sensitive subject right now, because when Triple H was asked about him in the press conference, he kind of went,
he's not gone, but
he's their financials. Yeah. He's the things that they're just trying to avoid because it's just better for press to just not mention.
Yeah.
But Triple H said it himself. He's not done. But yeah, it was quite I don't know. I was glad that Brock got the mention because it would have been a disservice to Heyman's career for Brock not to get the mention.
Was a big part. It is a big part.
Oh, massive.
The first Paul Heyman guy, wasn't he, at the end of the day?
Punk was.
Yeah, I can see that.
He was the first person. Punk was the first person to call himself a Paul Heyman.
Yeah. That's when the Paul Heyman guy, the Heyman guy.
If we're going back that far, it would have been the ECW boys with the Paul Heyman guys.
Yeah,
the first ones.
Well, even before that, he was managing Mark Callis. Yeah,
Mark Callis.
Mark Calloway.
Yeah. But he would have been
tired.
Would he have been Paulie? Was he Paulie Dangerously?
He was Paulie Dangerously, yeah.
Rather than Heyman. But yeah. Anyway, Hall of Fame was decent, but needs a alteration in my opinion. What else we have? We have Bull Nakano inducted. Thunderbolt Patterson was cool because
got to learn a lot about him. To be fair,
I thought shame. It's a shame that these Hall of Famers are the age they've become and the state they've become in. Because he's looking at his promo work, I thought from the segments they were showing, I was like, I bet he was really good back in the day, really bloody good. Liam Ivea's induction for The Rock was a weird one because The Rock, that was right at the end, wasn't it?
It was the last one, yeah.
And Liam Ivea got inducted. It says by The Rock, but Taker introduced her.
No, that was Ali.
Oh, it was Ali. Sorry, you're right. My bad. You're right. It was Ali, but that was a weird one. It was Rock. Brock got a title for that one though, didn't he?
And that was in the middle of the show, yeah.
The People's Champion belt.
It was just odd. The Taker's just like, well, what about me? I've just inducted him, and I get nothing.
No, I completely get what they did there because I think it would have been The Rock. It would have been The Rock that did that introduction, but obviously The Rock was inducting somebody else later on. But they still wanted to have that moment where she gave The Rock that belt because of his past tie with
Yeah.
Ali.
And not
So
only
they
that,
still had that moment.
I can see the People's Champion belt being a key thing going forward.
Well, we'll get
Yeah,
we'll get
Yeah.
there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, that was something that them came into play on Raw. The Rock segment at the end of the show of Hall of Fame was way shorter than we expected. There was supposed to be a bit more, I think, there, but I think Paul ran over so much that
It was good there.
they made it a
Yeah.
lot shorter.
Learned a
It
lot
had
about
its-
her as well.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole Liam Ivea stuff was great, and genuinely, all of the inductions were really good. But yeah, that one was blatantly cut short. The bit by Rock anyway, shall I say?
Yeah. I was happy with that though, to be fair. I'd rather have seen the Heyman stuff that we got to see than have him rushed off.
The irony of The Rock having a segment cut short, despite the
funny.
fact the amount of people, the amount of hate that was all online about Heyman going on first, 90% of it was, oh, this is just The Rock, swinging his newfound power around and making sure his grandma's last because he's the most important. It's like,
yeah, but he cut his own segment. Although, having
Yeah.
said that, Rock's made a lot of people cut their own segments recently because of how long he's took in the ring. So it's quite funny, really. It's quite ironic that it sort of went back the other way. US Express got inducted as well. So bloody Wyndham and Barry Wyndham and Mike Rotunda by Bo Dallas and Mika Rotunda, his sister,
Mhm.
Micah.
Maker.
Yeah, Mika. Yeah, it is Micah. You are right. That was quite good. We got to see Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice little moment.
We got the
always nice to see.
Fireflies gave me goosebumps. They
Yeah.
To
always
see him
do,
all
though.
back and to have those mentions of Ray, especially, I think that kind of brought back to the reverence of the Hall of Fame and what it's all about. Really, was to have that sort of that connection between the family and to see the connection that whole family has with the universe and the rest of the WWE family as a whole was really nice and yeah, I think that was probably one of the better ones of the night, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I know Paul Heyman was obviously a really good one, and obviously it's very hard to ever out promo Paul Heyman. But I think this one kind of meant more,
Oh yeah. There was that touch to it.
and just for them as well. I know they used their whole speech really to kind of talk about Bray, and I understand completely why. Like, I'm not saying that shouldn't have happened, but just for them personally as well to have that recognition of all the work that they'd done, they deserved it. Like,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, you aren't wrong with that. Do we think we're going to see Bo soon?
Yes,
Yes.
You reckon, based off
we'll
last
talk about
night's?
that. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
A few weeks.
Yeah,
That'll be it.
I still like my show, but again, we'll get there.
Yep.
Stand and deliver. We did give a lot of our opinions on our on our what just happened, but we'll go through them. And we won't talk about every match in much detail because we did probably go over a little bit on the what just happened anyway.
Yes, for a full review, check that one out.
Yeah, it's on the channel. I would say I'm gonna pin it there, but what I'm probably gonna do is upload this podcast, do the thumbnail, do the details, and go to bed because I'm bloody shattered.
Not only that, but pinning it there
Yeah.
means you'll struggle to later on pin the other two that we've done. So there's 3 what happened at for Manias
Yeah.
as well.
So if I just
Check
don't
them
do
all out.
any of them, check the channel. yeah. How about that? Don't be lazy.
Drop us
Click on our
a
name.
like, subscribe, do some comments down below. Tell us about how pretty my eyes are. Just
Okay, boosted.
yeah, I do.
Joe Gacy won a pre-show match against Sean Spears. Ty
You
Dillinger,
did. Ty Dillinger.
formerly known as.
Why would you do that? Sean Spears still not won a match.
Why would I do that? Why would I call him Ty
Coming back.
Dillinger?
I don't know, but it threw me, which is why I was like. But yes, Sean Spears still
It is odd.
not won a match since coming back. He's basically
Ty Dillinger.
turned into, I don't know what his current. I don't know how to explain his current thing, but he's enjoying pain essentially, which is
Yeah, it's a very strange gimmick, but Do you know what? Hopefully it leads somewhere.
I'm being dumb. Pre-show.
Was attacked by Rich
Okay.
Holland as well
That's what I was gonna
before he got to the ring.
Was Sean
Gacy
attacked?
was anyway.
Yeah, Gacy was attacked. Though was it Sean that got Ridge out?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a weird segment, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's
Well,
a good.
he didn't
there's
put
gonna
him
be a
out.
story.
He's not injured. He just
No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's now retired.
Yeah, he put himself out because he was scared of the damage he was going to do to people, basically because Sean's trying to get him to unleash his rage. It's all storyline.
Yeah, it's all story building, which is good.
Yeah. Baron Corbin, Bron Breaker against Axiom and Nathan Frazier at the start of the night. Obviously, Corbin and Breaker retaining. We said it on the what just happened, but bloody hell, Bron Breaker's scary.
I've said it for a while now. I remember saying
In a good way.
he
Though.
just reminded me of someone. It took me a while to work out who it was. It was a young Bill Goldberg. And I can see a lot of the young, explosive Goldberg in Bron Breakker. And I think he'll be as big one day, maybe.
Do you know what? Just hold that thought for a little while.
No.
No. We're going to continue the discussion.
Got it.
But just put a pin in that exact thought right there of Bron Breakker being just like a young Goldberg, because I'm going to circle back to it in the next match. But for now, carry on with this match. And yeah, it was unreal. Bron Breakker is just phenomenal.
Do they need to have anchors for the rings?
They do now.
They need to pin
They do
these.
now.
They need to pin these rings to the floor. Apparently,
We joked this happened and then watched it.
we
back.
thought it was a trick of our eyes because there's no way a man could physically move a ring with other people stood on the ring.
Yeah,
Just
4
running
other men stood
to-
on the ring at the time.
Yeah,
Just running the
ref
ropes.
and the other 3 guys. So the 4 of them plus himself, and he moved.
Yeah, he moved the ring, but not just. The thing
lot.
is, moving the ring is a thing that you can do if you hit the solid part of a ring, and you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. He didn't just hit a solid part of the ring; he hit a part of the ring that has flex in it.
Yeah,
So it
just
would have
running the
taken
ropes.
part of the impact out of it by hitting the rope. Can you imagine what damage he'd do if he hit it solid? It'd be like a car wreck,
Yeah.
like legitimately, like 2 cars just going.
That speed and strength is unreal.
Yeah, the explosive nature of the way that he is, he's going to go a million miles in the business. Like that guy is the one to. Again,
There's a couple.
that guy is
There's a
one
bunch.
of the
That's-
guys
but
that we need to watch.
That's the point
Like,
in NXT, though. They should all be looking
Yeah.
to be ones to watch. It was a surprise though. We'll give them that. It was a surprise that they retained because we was expecting it to be stick it on Fraser and Axiom and then bring at least definitely Bron properly full time up because he's already
I thought
on a
some
brand.
story, yeah.
I think that's deliberate. We've got a draft coming, and I think they're both coming up. Although they're also defending the titles on Tuesday, so tonight.
But I'm also going to say they're both coming up. But
as we're
also
recording this.
I know we'll sort of as it sort of does sort of relevant to this. They did make it look like we're going to get a draft of all 3 brands.
Yes.
As if
We
like,
are getting all
That's
three.
why I mentioned
yeah, as all 3 brands as the same level.
Yeah.
Something that is going to be very good for Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
By the time we get there, like there'll be 3 brands that there's more and more wrestling that people are actually watching, rather than it being we don't watch like developmental because they
Yeah.
on Raw last night there was a couple of people that appeared and they had to explain who they were, and I was a bit like, oh, we should have.
We
to
have
do
called for a
that.
while for NXT to be the 3rd brand, and it looked
Well,
like it was going to.
They were going to do it before COVID,
Was,
and then
was,
and
it,
then
was
stopped.
it 2018 or 2019 the Survivor Series when
They had the
Keith
third
Keith Lee
brand,
came
yeah.
in and had the genuine
Well, like I say,
face off with like Roman Reigns, and it was like, Jesus, this is a big deal.
It was
I think
just
2019.
It was just before COVID, wasn't it?
Definitely Trips pushing for it when he was running NXT, and I think we're now going to get that. What
Yeah, I
we
think it was
wanted.
2019 because then in 2020, obviously, we had the face off between Keith Lee and Brock in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Big
But yeah,
boy.
2019 is when they really stepped up NXT to the point where it was a 3rd brand. And I think
5 years
I don't
later.
know what caused them to give up on that and to put it back.
it was
And
NXT,
it may
it
have
was
just
COVID. It was
it may have
COVID.
just been COVID.
They didn't even know
But-
if they were going to be able to keep Raw and SmackDown going, so they dropped
But
it.
They absolutely deserve to be back up there with some of the talent that they've got down there.
In terms of the wrestling, NXT had the best matches of the weekend.
I
Well,
think it was the best overall.
Yeah, because but I mean, storytelling, I think Mania still trumped it. But
Yeah.
in terms of matches themselves, NXT had it. But that's what NXT usually does. In all fairness,
speaking of the best matches of the weekend,
I thought it was pretty terrible. Can't lie.
the best match of the weekend.
Nah, it was
like
awful.
there's
Awful.
no,
Don't
we've all
don't
said it
watch it.
since. So don't.
Obafemi defeated Dijak and Josh Briggs to retain.
What an unreal match
Yeah.
that was! Like, just there's very little that I can say about it that will do it justice, because these three huge men, we're talking all of them over 6'4", all of them over 270 pounds, are jumping around like cruiserweights. Like, they are all three of them flying around.
Josh Briggs is 2'4". Oh no, he's not. Hang on, no, he's 268.
Oh.
Close. So
And not
close.
one of them are out of place.
What, 268 pounds?
Just yeah.
I think he
They were
lost
all
some through
billed.
sweat.
They were all billed at over
Yeah.
270 for the night.
I
So.
was
Yeah,
there.
he's lost a
Dijak's
bit
exactly
from sweat.
270 as well. I think they sort of
Uh,
they and Obafemi's 270 as well on the dot. So
Yeah.
Not one of them looked out of place in that whole match.
Nah.
these are, in my opinion, three of the guys that NXT should be building their side of the draft around.
So I've done a little bit of research this morning because I was interested about it. Obafemi, he came around.
It's now the best
and
Nigerian.
he had maybe two or three matches in NXT when he first came into the company. Mostly just little job matches, and he actually lost. Since he came back in September of last year, I think it was. No, it was probably before that. It was in the breakout tournament anyway. So since he came out of the breakout tournament, he's had a total of, I think, 9 matches. And he's won all. Obviously, he's won all of them. But in 9 matches, to get to the level that he's at right now, where he's just a ridiculous combination of strength, power, athleticism. He's got charisma as well. He may not be the best talker ever, but he has got it. Like, he's got ring awareness, he's got ring presence, he's got the ability to control a crowd.
And do
you know what I see when I look at him?
He's only 25 as well, by the way.
Do you know what I see when I look at him? And this is legitimate.
Go on.
I see the next Brock Lesnar.
I wasn't even going to say Brock.
I genuinely see the next Brock Lesnar. Which is why I said hold that thought on Goldberg, the next Goldberg. We've also got the next Brock Lesnar at the same time.
He's got everything you need naturally to be a great, and everything else can be taught and will be taught to him.
Yeah,
because there's some great people on the mics in that business that will work with him.
He's also the first graduate of the Next in Line program that they started up, where they took collegiate athletes from all other sports to put into wrestling.
Which is
what shot putter.
Which is what Gabe Stevenson was also part of, and obviously he's done nothing.
No,
but
there's the difference.
There's exciting times.
But potentially they've got the next Goldberg and the next Brock Lesnar in the exact same
person
class at the time. No, not the same person.
Yeah,
same class, and same time period together. Like. And they're both ridiculously young.
It's exciting times when you look at people like you look at people like Josh Briggs coming up in there in a minute. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. Some of the youngsters they've got in that. No, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller's a bit older.
Grayson Waller's quite a bit older.
But some of the youngsters we was looking at, Bron Breakker, the average age is 24, 25. 26.
Yes.
The future right now for WWE with guys like that on the roster is looking incredibly bright.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly bright. I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait to see what these guys can do on the main roster. I can't wait to see when they get some decent stories put around them. Like, they could...
Yeah.
It's untold how big that this could get with people like that on the horizon.
We're in exciting times with stories and
Very much
the way
so.
things are moving forward, and these guys are going to be hitting at the perfect time, I think.
I do want to just sort of jump in before we carry on with NXT. I do want to point out Titch isn't just sat here in silence because she's just going to sit here and look pretty. She missed NXT Stand and Deliver, so she's just as much as a viewer as you guys are at the minute.
So good.
She's already hit like and subscribed, and you should do the same too at this point of the video.
Hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we send a new video out as well.
Bong bong, because then you'll also won't miss when we're live for our watch-alongs.
Done that.
6 women tag match was all right. We mentioned it enough. It probably doesn't need about
it was a
told some
storyteller.
storylines. Yeah. Roxanne Perez defeated Lyra Valkyria as well in the next match, which meant Roxanne Perez got the title, and it was a good match. And she also appeared last night, and we may mention it, but she appeared last night on Raw.
She did,
which was quite
cool.
Yeah.
As NXT champion.
It was all right, and the thing is, it's opening people's eyes to people that might not have watched NXT. They might not be followers of NXT, and I think they'll go, actually, do you know what? She isn't that bad. I'll give it a watch. That's what they need.
I think NXT put on a great showing with these matches. The two women's matches obviously came one after the other. The first women's match, as you said, was mainly just storytelling, and they told us about the stuff with Thea Hale and JC Jane, and their sort of the accumulation of their rivalry, and it made sense for Thea Hale to pick up that victory with the submission as well. But there was more to the fact that these two women's matches were put on back to back, and it was the fact that they then announced that they are going to be revealing a mid-card women's belt with the women's North American title.
It was done in between them as well, I think.
It was done in between them, yes.
Which is very cool. So, mid-card women's belt.
Which is a great idea. There's a lot of women on the roster for NXT. There's not as many on the main roster as there is on NXT right now.
That's all going to change.
That's what I was about to say.
We could see some big names down there.
Well, this is it. We keep saying down there. If they're doing the draft and they were talking with Ava as part of the third GM, is it moving across? And does that mean that we're going to end up with a mid card for the women's belts elsewhere?
Well, or does it mean that one could potentially be a women's belt that's defended across all brands, like the women's tag titles were supposed to be originally?
That could
which
be cool.
I'd be more than for.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I wish the women's belts were. I've said this in the past.
You don't have enough.
I think up until recently, because we do have a lot of women now, but most of them are still at NXT. I think they probably should have combined the women's division across all shows.
Yeah.
And just had the women on any show they wanted to be on, whenever they could be. Until recently. Now, I'd say there probably is enough that they can start doing something with them.
Yeah.
But it's also very hard because there's only a limited number of time on any show, on every show. And we know this, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but we know this from when we've booked GM mode on me and Pete when we've been doing the game. You've got a limited number of available spots at available time, and you've got to choose who to put in those spots.
You need to utilize people where you can.
The logic, the problem is, and it's not the women's fault, because there is a lot of women out there that can wrestle very, 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 very well. Very well. There's also some that are not good at all. And the problem is those women have brought the division down to a level where people don't want to watch it, which means that even when the good women are on, they get 0 views. They like the view ratings actively go down. So it's very difficult for them to book multiple women's matches on a show because that'll destroy their ratings. Nobody will watch that show.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
So what they are doing, and they're slowly trying to do it, is they are building them, but they're building them in other segments and trying to bring in different nuances to try and build the women's division up to a point where it's going to be interesting, without just putting on women's match after women's match after women's match, which would then destroy the show.
I like the fact that they're adding the minor in for that reason, because it gives them another, and like you say, another avenue to look at them in. A champion doesn't always need to be wrestling, but a champion needs to be seen.
Which is why Rhea's done so well.
Yeah, because she's shown how dominant she is. I think she's a better champion than ever. I think she's actually gone surpassed my expectations, because she holds the title with such authority of it that it surprised me just how good she is with it. And I think what you'll find with these women's now is that the North American Championship for them is going to be a really good stepping stone for them to be like, hey, look, I can hold a title. I am actually better. Because there is some people out there that are way better when they have a title in their hand.
Yeah.
Miz, for example, is one for me. He is way better when he has a title.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm thinking that's the way they're going with these women.
I hope so.
Hello, dog.
I hope so.
Just got the edge of his nose there.
Yeah, I saw him.
But was the whole Roxanne Perez, Lyra Valkyria again? That was another very well story told thing, because that's Roxanne getting her title back.
Yeah.
On Stand and Deliver. And then we went into the next match, which was also, I think, the start of a very well told story.
Yeah.
The
It laid the
Dragunov.
foundations massively.
Dragunov winning the title, but Tony D'Angelo wanted to do it in a face way, with trying to win it legitimately.
Ended up costing him.
Yeah, and I think whoever, I think it was one of you two, and well, it definitely was one of you two that said about him. Then maybe later down the line, having another chance at it and winning it
Yeah,
illegally.
Yeah, basically he didn't want to accept his friend's help. He didn't want to do the heel things within this match. He didn't want to take the easy route, essentially. He wanted to do it on his own. He wanted to do it the hard way, and he went for it, and he failed. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the line we see the same sort of rematch, but he gets those opportunities again, and this time he goes, yeah, I'm just going to take the easy way, and eventually that be the end of how Dragunov has the belt. Yeah,
And maybe see Dragunov around the IC title picture, with or without Gunther.
You know, all the speculation of what I thought was going to happen. I'm just thinking back, it changed as of last night. Now that everyone could be mixed around. This is the big thing for me. That's like, that would have worked out good. That would have worked out good. But we haven't got a clue what's going to happen now.
I mean, that's going to be the huge thing. If it will tell instantly, because the draft is now at the end of the month.
Yeah.
If we see huge names switch to NXT, if we see a Gunther appear back on NXT, we see.
It could happen. I think
No,
this
no,
is the
but
thing. They're going
that-
to treat it as a third
if
brand.
they do
That
it,
would make
I get what
a
you're
third
saying.
that's
brand.
going to be an instant way to be like, oh, it's not the development brand.
It's a third
And then
brand.
they're gonna
you want a big name down in NXT. It's not going to be a Gunther. It's going to be a Jey Uso or someone like that. Someone that's got that popularity to.
Yeah.
Because Gunther, although he's very, very good, he's not popular.
But it's still okay.
Jay will
It
bring
was
the
just a
eyes
name that
with
came to
him.
my head because it's
Yeah.
That's what they
someone
want.
that's way past that level of
Past that point,
ever
yeah,
been
yeah.
it and put back into NXT.
Getting
as
Logan
a
Paul on
permanent thing.
NXT would be mental.
Logan Paul's
For
would be another
views, would
great
be
shout.
nuts.
Genuinely another
It'd
great
be
shout.
weird,
Instant
it
views.
To help build that brand.
Because
Instant
it would
views.
it would
would help Logan as well if they did put him down.
Yeah,
It would
it
actually
would.
make more sense to put him down there.
you keep saying
It's
down,
not
stop
down,
saying
stop
down.
saying
This is
down.
my point.
Yeah,
Stop saying
it's a
down.
cross.
It's
a
a
cross.
cross.
Yeah.
And I, this is exactly what I'm getting at. Is if
Yeah.
we end up with someone that, if they did somebody of someone like Seth's level and just went, Seth Rollins is being drafted to NXT, you're like, okay, this changes the entire game.
Can I just put a nuance on that as
What's
well? Someone like Seth's probably more likely than some of the others.
Because of his history of NXT.
Well, no, none of that. Ignore everything you think you know. Ignore it.
I know nothing about it, Jon Snow.
NXT still won't be a travelling brand and will still have a home at the Performance Centre and will have the same place weekly.
Assuming
It'll be
assuming they do that.
which means it would be a much easier work schedule for people still. So someone like Seth and Becky, for that matter, it would be perfect for them while they're still, a recovering, because obviously, Seth's got 1,000,001 injuries at this point. He definitely needs time off. But when he comes back and he needs to do a bit of rehab for a while before he's 100% fit to get out on the road again, that's the perfect place to be to do that. And the same for Becky. They've got the child, etc. For them to have
a
that
little bit of stability,
even for people that are going to go a little bit more part time.
Yeah.
People that are looking at getting part time contracts, people like your Roman Reigns, people like that. NXT would be a better brand for them because the chances are they probably live in the area anyway. So it's literally right on their doorstep. They don't have to worry about all the travel needs. They'll be much happier in a brand like that, which means that they'll be able to sign them for longer. And it'll be a smarter move for WWE to keep contracted talent that they want to keep, that don't want to go on the road, that are like, I'm feeling burned out. I might have to just let this contract slide, to go, hey, how about we just put you in NXT for a year?
But that's assuming that their eventual plans, if they are going to make it a third brand, is that they are going to start traveling.
I think
I don't think they should
may well do.
No.
because
I don't think they should
I
travel.
think you can end up the development matches will be things like speed.
You'll end up there for a while, I think. And I think if it does well, they will look at going, do you know what? We'll do a bit of a tour. And if that goes well, we'll look at taking the third brand along. But I think they do need to trial it first.
They'll still do tours. They always did tours with NXT anyway. But I think they should stay for the most part as in their place. Don't get me wrong. I think that they'll be part of the proper pay-per-views going forwards afterwards. So they'll be in town for pay-per-views.
I think what we could see more is a lot of people just turning up on the other brands, maybe. I do like the idea of this.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the final match as well. Actually, I think the fact that we're having this draft is actually huge for them because
For these two, massive.
I think they could also easily stay in NXT. But also, it's a great way of just sort of shipping them to separate brands. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes. Match was decent, to be fair, on the night. Told a story. Ended a little bit sooner than we expected, but hey, it was all right, and we did talk about that in the Watchers.
We did go full length as well, so it might have been cut slightly short, which I kind of get. It finished bang on time.
Yeah,
we've done a full review over there, but it was all right. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them two separated by the draft, to be honest with you. And I think keep them away from each other for a while. Let them slap again in the future, but for now, keep them apart.
They're young enough to do that as well.
Yeah.
If NXT's they're going to be part of the draft, having people like Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams as their base sort of roster to be working with, start off with, is pretty good. Pretty good. And if they keep them both, then pretty good as well,
Yeah. Trick's come on a long way. Come on a very long way from where I thought he was at. And this Carmelo, he's okay. He's a little bit small for me personally.
Very small man.
I think the charisma doesn't match the attitude, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal.
No, I don't disagree. I don't think he's quite a good enough heel, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Right. From what I thought was quite a very well-produced show, was then going to bed, was then waking up and watching genuinely one of the worst produced things I've seen come out of WWE in a while.
There was WrestleMania night one in between.
I was about to say, yeah, you've missed a pretty significant.
Oh
thing.
yeah, well yeah, no, that was that's what I was on about. Night one was crap. Look, I don't.
Dan's just really
It's
excited
been a long
to have an
day.
argument about Slammies, aren't you?
No, I forgot.
There's no arguing.
Honestly, no. I'm gonna be that guy.
No, there will be.
I'm hosting.
I'm hosting.
I'm in charge. Slammies were awful, like awfully produced. I'm gonna talk about them now, and we're gonna get it done and out of the way, and then we can talk about WrestleMania as a whole in one big go.
Yeah.
Deal. Good. Right. Male superstar of the year, Cody Rhodes. Female superstar of the year, Rhea Ripley. NXT superstar of the year, Tiffany Stratton. Breakout superstar of the year, LA Knight was a bit odd. All right, fair enough. Rivalry of the year, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Match of the year: Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. No. Faction of the year: The Judgment Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Social star of the year: Drew was a weird one.
Drew was the right choice, but
It's
I didn't think
weird
he was going to
because
get it.
it's only happened in
I'm
the
just
last
gonna-
like 2 months.
I'm just gonna preface everything that you just said by reminding people it's a fan vote. So if you didn't vote, that's why the answers are what they are. Like,
Yeah. But it's just
if you wanted to change it.
It's just a bit of an odd one. Best entrance: Cody Rhodes is for one thing. Oh my god, moment of the year: Punk returning at Survivor Series. Return of the year: CM Punk, unsurprisingly. Fan chant of the year: Yeah. By LA Knight. Mic drop of the year: Paul Heyman. Rizzy of the year: Seth Rollins.
Something they invented for Seth Rollins doing something.
Villain of the year: Dominic Mysterio. Trash talker of the year: The Rock. The Rock was the only person in the company that is allowed to talk about the things he talks about without getting in trouble. So that seems like cheating, if you ask me.
Well, to be fair play, because he always gives the fan an award at every event he goes to now.
Mention the thing, Pete, that you mentioned to me the other day about what The Rock was told backstage by Michael Page years ago.
I remember.
Oh, Pete, what was it, Link?
Are you sure it was me?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Something about he was told that he wasn't allowed to say half the things that he wanted to say, or that the other people were allowed to say, because it wasn't in his script. And Michael Hayes basically said to him, "Well, you've got a live microphone."
That wasn't me.
Okay.
Who did I have that conversation
Don't
with?
know.
Don't know. But either way,
I
it's
get the
totally
point.
true. Like, who's gonna reprimand him?
It was mentioned, that whole segment though, you saying that was mentioned in the Young Rock on an episode once, where he went out with a live mic and just called it. And
Yeah,
he
which I
thought
know
he
you
was,
watch, which is why I said
No,
why
no,
I
no,
thought you should have told me. 'Cause
Maybe
Yeah.
Link's just reciting
he
Rock.
he thought he
I
was
haven't
going to
watched
get
it.
Oh,
he
okay.
thought he was going to get really done for it, and he just done it on the fly and it worked. It got over.
There we go.
Might have been Thumb, you know.
It could well have been Shout Thub. In terms of production, by the way, what happened on that show?
Everything went wrong. that could have
Okay,
gone wrong.
so they had problems in the world the day before as well with the Pat McAfee show. They had audio issues. It seems like they had issues in the whole weekend with the stuff inside the WWE The World.
Which is why I thought you were about the earthquake, by the way. You said they had problems with the world, and I was like, how are you blaming this on the
Problems in the
earthquake?
world.
Not
No,
thinking
probably
WWE,
the
the
world.
world. You know what I mean? They had the earthquake
actual
the
venue-
day before as well.
The venue had
Anyway.
massive issues all weekend.
Yeah, inside the world they had massive problems. The core basically has these tectonic plates, and occasionally they run against each other.
It's so weird. It's called the world because it's so confusing.
It used to be
access.
Access.
Which confused a lot less caused a lot less confusion.
So, but yeah, basically the problems. It seems like it was just technical stuff. I'm guessing the production crew that normally work for WWE and do all the WWE stuff were
Busy.
working for WWE doing other WWE stuff. You know, so they got in other people that were
People that run the
Not very
venue.
good.
Or they were
not
just
great.
hammered and still a bit hungover, and they just half-assed the show.
Also,
which was
true.
probably almost definitely true. But yeah, it was
It was good to get a couple of special guest appearances out at the Slammies. People like Charlotte we see again,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Dom
She did
got
really well.
had to pretend like he hadn't won an award when he already knew he had won an award because he had already scripted that he'd won the award, but he pretended that he didn't know the award. It was dumb.
And it was good to see Big E back as well as Charlotte.
Yeah,
R-Truth randomly stood in the crowd the entire time.
on the red
On
carpet.
his red
though.
carpet.
He was on the red
I
carpet.
like the
On a red
actual
mat.
segment.
It was a red carpet.
It was like a meter squared carpet that he carried around with him, so he stood on the red carpet.
It was cheaper. I get
It
it.
was a doormat.
I think
Made
the
of?
best part of the Slammies was the R-Truth segments because he made you laugh. The guy
Yeah.
is a comical genius.
Do you know what? Hats off to him
wasn't-
for one thing. That was, I guarantee anyone that had a ticket to go into the world had a little free thing to be put on during the day.
Oh yeah, they definitely
Give him
enjoyed
something
it.
to do.
And it showed what it was, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was there to entertain the fans in person. Really, it was, and I think we said this at the time.
Weekend event.
It reminded you of if you've ever been to like a holiday camp and you've sat and you've watched, especially the daytime entertainment,
That's what it
a
was.
holiday camp, this was exactly what that was. Bunch of people walking around, minding their own business, doing other stuff, not interested in it whatsoever. And one guy stood on the stage going, "Yeah, everybody listen!" rah!" and having a great time, just trying to hype up crowds that just don't
And
care.
it would have been
Don't know it at all.
it would have been a free event for the fans to attend. And do you know what? They enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was bad, but it was also
It was
good.
fun. It was fun.
Dan, is this the thing that you're going to tell us about, or are you just...
Oh no, I'll tell you in a bit.
on
But
faces?
it's relating to it. It's relating to it.
Okay.
It's related to something a little bit later on that I've just seen as breaking news.
Okay.
But yes, okay.
Okay.
Was that it with the Slammies?
Yeah.
It's a weird event. I did feel like we should have had a lemon Fanta afterwards and then had a nap in the afternoon.
It was good.
Rhea Ripley opened up main. Well, no, I want to talk about Big E being back. You mentioned him. He was back for both pre-shows as well. Wasn't it nice having him doing something?
It was. He's energy. It reminded me it's something else. The energy that he brings, and the charisma of the guy. It's untouched.
He
He's
has
so
been
good.
this.
He does
You can feel
seem
it.
sad behind the eyes though, which is a bit of a
Yeah,
shame.
I do like.
And
I
I'm
hope
hoping
they're going
he
to.
can get what he wants back, which is he clearly wants to get back in the ring. I don't
Do you know what?
blame him.
Even if he can't get back in the ring, he's been out doing interviews the weekend, and he's been kind of. I wouldn't mind seeing him do like the Burrow Saxon backstage segments, interviews, bits and pieces, doing something, being on TV again, because he can carry a decent interview, and the energy that he brings is, like I said, it's crazy.
Look, I just keep saying I'd love to see him back as doing something with New Day as their manager, but I think that'd be maybe too painful.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it be funny if like that would be like their way of getting over as like they just switch up and become heels? I think Big E could actually get them over as a manager, as a heel. I think he's good at enough, brings enough energy to everything. I feel like he could also bring a lot of energy of being the bad guy.
Having him at ringside would be too tempting, and he would want. Okay, I'll do a little spot, and I'll do a little spot, and I'll do a little spot.
But when was the last time that Heyman was touched? When was the last time Paul Ellering was touched?
I think that's their choice. Big E would be like, "Let me do one. Let me do one.
Well, if
let
he
me
does
do one."
that'd be foolish on him.
Yeah, I kind of.
But I think
You're
it could
foolish
be.
on him or not.
I think
might
he
be
could
why
do-
they don't want him in that position.
It's a temptation, and it would be unfair. I personally think. But I'd like to see him in some. He showed that he can talk and he can present. Do you know what? Perfect thing for him. I've seen now 2 guest hosts this week of Jay Uso and Liv Morgan. They were presenting the bump.
Right.
Give that something like that
Good
to
name for
Big
a
E
podcast.
as a host.
That sort of thing's perfect for Big E. Absolutely perfect. for Big
Full-time
E.
host would be perfect.
Yeah, give him an outside show, something like make him a personality. The same sort of shows that you used to give to people like Corey Graves.
Yeah.
Before he became full-time commentator.
So even something like, I don't know, you get that show, what is it, in America, Billy on the Streets or something. Right, it's Billy, and he goes on the streets. Let's have Big E in the crowd.
Yeah.
So
The Miz-
Big E
that's
just
when The
goes
Miz
round when we've
started.
got pay-per-views, and he's just chatting
Literally.
to the crowd.
The Miz started doing that. That was the first time we see the Miz. He was in the crowd interviewing fans.
Same with Pat McAfee. That's where he went.
Yeah, but it'd be good if
That'd be really cool.
Needs something. I don't want him doing the same, being put on the same par as Booker T. If I'm honest, like
Yeah.
I don't want.
But yeah, make him
I
show that
consider
personality
outsiders
off.
as Booker T level.
Show the personality he's got off, and if it's interviewing, presenting, or interviewing crowds, whatever, he needs to be involved in the company still.
I mean, there's also a very strong and very high possibility that he just doesn't want to.
Possibly.
And he's quite happy to
Yeah,
just, be a legend and be retired, essentially. It's
I don't know. I
as
think
much as that sounds painful for any of us to hear or think of, maybe he knows he's done and that's it.
I think
Maybe as well, the flip side of that is maybe he's just been told, hey, in 6 months we'll revisit where you're at and see whether we can get you back in the ring.
I think seeing him present and how much he was involved in presenting the weekend shows that he'll want to do something. in some capacity there.
I'm gonna put that as everyone loves money though, Pete.
He's still going to get the money. While
He's,
he's doing
he's,
it,
he's still under contract regardless. So.
One thing we did also see this weekend, I've not mentioned, that we saw on Thursday.
It's a long way back.
Saturday. Not Saturday, Friday. Friday. It was Friday. It was before SmackDown. It was the kickoff show. We had a kickoff show. Because Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch both came out for that, and they did start our weekend of stuff. Link's first Link, your reaction still gets me. The very first entrance we have for the entire. Wow.
Are we talking about the kickoff show now, or are we talking about? Like, you were talking about the kickoff show a minute ago.
Well, they was on both.
Right, so you're not talking about the press conference kickoff show that they did, which we also watched.
Yeah, but my point was I couldn't actually remember. I couldn't remember what happened on that show. I remember they were on it.
Right. Okay.
Do you remember what happened on that show?
No, but it was. That's
They
I was
existed
thinking back
on
to
the
that
show.
show, and now you're talking about their
Sorry.
WrestleMania. 3 days later,
We have spoke about the bits that happened at the start. So we have Triple H came out before all this and the thing, but we did thingy. So what just happened? But Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. Were we happy with how that match went?
It was okay, considering even more so now. We knew Becky was ill, but it's now come out that literally like an hour or so before, Becky's come out and said that she had the worst panic attack coming out. And there was, well, they're going to do it. And she knew Becky was ill. And do you know what? I think it was quite a solid match considering there was issues. It was okay. I think it wasn't a bad match.
It was okay. Okay is a good word for it. There was some pretty rough spots in it. I'm not gonna lie. But look,
the results were the right thing, and that's all that really mattered from it.
The only reason that I'm going to be overcritical of it is because it was a Mania match. Like this wasn't just a match. This was a Wrestlemania match. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't. It was an okay match, and I completely understand why it wasn't good enough because she wasn't well. So it's acceptable on that grounds, but as a Mania match itself, it wasn't. If you take out all of the outside circumstances and everything else, it doesn't stand up. It doesn't stand up as a Mania match that was worthy of being on the card.
The thing is, there was some good people that didn't make onto Mania as well.
Exactly. Like, you know, like as we mentioned already, there was no women's multi-person match other than the 6-woman tag match. There was no like battle royal, nothing like that. So there was no.
We were very low on women all weekend, really.
There was no Mania payday for a lot of people, and especially for the women.
Over the 2 nights, there was only 3 women's matches.
Yeah.
What, 15?
Yeah. So it's
14. Technically.
I get it, and I know why this match was on. You know, Rhea deserved the match. Absolutely deserved a match on the card. She's been phenomenal. I think Rhea's probably been one of the best. In fact, has been the best woman on the roster this year. So she absolutely deserved to be on the card. It's just a shame that it went the way that it did, and it's just unfortunate circumstances. They're both great. They can both put on great matches. It's just. It kind of is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I felt like the entire this match and then the entire weekend now, all the results we've got, I think probably are there or thereabouts is the right result and the right way to go to the next start of storylines. I think Rhea winning that is the right way. It wasn't Becky.
No, it wasn't.
It's not as though Becky was going to win that and then she was ill, so they decided to not give it to her.
No, it was going to go that way anyway.
Yeah. Nothing was changed. Also, it was so nice to see Rhea's smile coming out
For her entrance.
Singing,
like
singing
her.
and smiling.
She was in such a great mood coming to that match. Like that entrance that she had the live band on again. She was so happy, and you could see the energy in her.
She had a pretty good weekend.
She was very much in a happy place.
She was. It was very good.
A-Town Down Under. are our new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Awesome Truth are our new Raw Tag Team Champions. Tag Team ladder match. Titles get split. Like I said before,
It needed to happen.
bang on. Perfect.
I mean, it was obviously happening
Yeah.
when you could
Yeah.
see that they'd split the titles on the actual thing and put them on two separate sides of the ring.
And
It's
said
like-
that the match was going to carry on until both
both
got
got-
taken.
But also at the
So-
same time, you say that, I could have quite easily seen them just being like, yeah, and Judgment Day still win both because they just they
I did think
they bring
about
out they bring out the other guys and they just outnumber the other tag teams and they still pick up.
Yeah,
the
I
titles.
mean, obviously, I think it was Austin that went through the ladder on the outside, wasn't it? After he picked up the belts,
I thought it was Waller. who
Waller
went
picked him
through
up.
was
the-
it Waller? Okay, but they both got taken out
Yeah.
after they'd gone the first belts, which it was just to get them out of the way, really, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
there was never going to be involved in the second one. They could have literally just walked off at that point. Like, so it was, but it was a great match, like great match, some brilliant spots, some pretty good innovations.
I'll tell you
From
something,
what I remember,
actually.
there was some things that I didn't expect and hadn't seen before. So
A little
I'm
fact.
just remembering our truth pinning in Banner.
Talking of our truth, there's a
Yeah.
little fact I told
Did the
Link
whole
earlier.
Cena segment, yeah.
I told Link earlier a little fact. 1999, our truth made his WWE debut at the age of 27. 2024, our truth wins his first ever Mania match at the age of 54.
50
Jeez.
bloody 4.
Wins his first ever Mania match, which was wicked. And he's got a title for it.
You got a
25 years later,
first tag title with the Miz as well.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
I was happy for him there.
It's bang on right, and especially the fact that the Judgment Day ended up getting what they got, them losing the tag titles was bang on as well, to be honest.
yeah, I think they had a really good run as well. To be honest,
Night one was fantastic for storytelling. And
Well, this
it'll
is
go on
it,
to that.
um,
It's
Mostly,
always
yeah.
I think it was told stories very well.
Yeah.
Most
Triple
most
H.
matches.
And Triple H even come out and said, night one was.
I was in the press
focused
conference,
on-
wasn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
building the story.
it was focused on building the story and building night two.
Night two would be the
And
go home.
They hit the nail on the head though. They did what they needed to do.
What's quite funny about that is that's exactly what I'd been saying for the previous 24 hours before Triple H said it on night two press conference. But yes,
Yeah.
it was very much. It was night one was, and kind of the way that I'd worded it was night one was for the wrestling fans, night two was for the casual fans as well.
But
Yeah.
hell, the wrestling fans enjoyed it too. But anyway.
Yes.
I didn't give a monkeys about this match, if I'm honest. Rey Mysterio and Andrade won the
Yep.
tag match against Santos Escobar and Dirty Tom. The only thing that made me go, oh, sweet, was we had a Mania moment.
Yeah, because there wasn't too many night ones. We got one.
Jason
Yeah.
Kelsey and Lane Johnson, I think his name is, appeared from the two Philly guys, appeared in masks.
Local legends. So
Yeah.
I get why they done it.
Yeah, it was nice that we had a Mania moment at least, because apart from that, we didn't have a single bloody Mania moment that night.
No.
No, we didn't.
It did.
No, we
It
did.
did feel a little flat, but then
We had a
the
pay-per-view.
crowd was flat because they were freezing.
Oh, the crowd were freezing it. Apparently, it was a very, very cold night in Philly for
It
everyone.
was a pay per view, not a
Yeah.
not a WrestleMania or night one really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say, the only thing that I'd say was Mania-esque was Samantha Irvin being the best thing in the world for the entire night, despite the fact she was absolutely freezing to bits. Like it just I don't. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna fanboy over her every time I see it because her ring
She
announcing
does
is
give you-
just.
She gives me chills.
She's
yeah.
a next level ring
I
announcer.
see something earlier on. I see a lot of people criticising it, but the more I thought about it, the more I went, I kind of agree. Samantha Irvin is now on Howard Finkel level for WWE.
I think she's above.
He
I
was.
think she's above.
I
I
think
she
the only
just needs that
reason.
little bit more time.
Yeah, I
still,
think the
though,
only reason
personally,
she's not
but
is because
yeah,
of
she's
how
not a
long
million
he done it
miles
for.
off.
But I think she is now up there as. I always thought Howard Finkel was number one because how long he had done it for. He was iconic. That voice, everyone knows it who's watched WWE. She is now with him on that level for doing it in such a short time as well. Yeah, she's going to be the biggest thing, the biggest ring announcer ever in the company.
You'd like to
I
think
love
so.
I love the Think. I
Yeah.
absolutely love the Think. The thing with the Think was he had an amazing voice,
Yeah.
but not like else.
No, yeah, he was
He
was
didn't
very
have any
different at the
passion or
time.
anything
No,
else with his thing.
She
But
does.
it fitted. Like, don't get me wrong. It was.
For the time, it works.
I'm not criticizing him at all. Well, no, it was just a different style. It wasn't
Yeah.
even so much it was for the time. It was just a different style of how things were done. And his voice was fantastic. He had a great voice for what he was doing, and he was very. But having a nice voice doesn't make you good.
she's done something.
Ooh,
that,
nice
do you know
voice.
what? She's done something, and I would like to put it to one person. That should take some credit for it. Michael Cole started a thing where he didn't want to know what was going on and wanted to call it by watching stuff in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Sam now doesn't want to know the results. She wants to know when she sees it in the ring. And that was something that Michael Cole started. It was very unusual for anyone to do anything like that.
He used to do that, yeah.
Yeah. And now I
he
think
doesn't do that
she's.
anymore.
He doesn't
I
do
did
it,
as
but
well.
Pat still does now.
Yeah.
But I think it was something that was very different. And she's gone, do you know what? I really like that. And now she started doing the same thing. And you can tell it's surprise and passion every time.
But she has got this. This is the thing. Like, you can. She's got personality to her voice as well, and this is what differentiates her from a Fink, because Fink was great, but there was no emotion, there was no passion, there was none of that in his voice. He was very, very good. He had an amazing voice.
Yeah.
But that's a gift.
Yeah.
That's not a talent. Sam's got an amazing voice, and she's honed it and put passion towards it and puts emotion into it.
You can see she's a fan.
And there's a
You can hear
talent
it.
there as well, though.
Yeah.
Because you can be as passionate as you want about wrestling. Like, I'm passionate about wrestling. If you don't know that from just watching these, I don't know what to tell you. To have that level of emotion when you know that things are not necessarily know what's going to happen, but you've got a good idea. Like, you're not stupid.
To end up crying doing the announcement.
Exactly. Like, there's a little bit of acting in there as well. Like, she's very, very good.
Yeah, she isn't dumb.
That's
She
the
knows.
talent.
She knows to play on it as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the talent part of it for me, and that's what puts her above, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Let's talk about someone that's also got passion, but showed no talent on night one. No Uso, Jimmy Uso match. It was naff. That's all I want to say about it.
I don't know if they were saving themselves or
Why? It's their match.
what.
It was very flat. I think it needed something. It needed something more. I think they needed the Rikishi special referee.
It did.
They
Just
needed
to tell that story.
the
a
spear
little
off the
more.
stage to get that match going.
Yeah,
And it happened the next
needed-
night.
They needed something. They needed. I don't know if whether they could have
Do you
added a
think it would have
hardcore element
benefited
to the
from a
match,
stipulation?
a stipulation, a special referee, any number of things really that they could have done to try and just give that match just a little bit of a juice up.
I know it was mentioned about a street fight, but the that happened anyway somewhere else.
Yeah,
so they weren't overdoing
good
that,
fun.
which
The
I
match
kind
right
of
before,
get.
didn't it?
Yeah.
The match right before it was the street fight with the special referee, so it was
What? For what?
the match right before the Usos.
It was the Pride versus.
That was the day after.
That was next day.
Next day.
The
The match before was Rey Mysterio Andrade with the
that was the
Mysterio
next
Andrade.
day.
Yeah, okay, next day then.
It needed something. A special guest would have worked. The ref.
I'm tired.
Well, it's that you could have had something involving Solo. I don't know.
I think they really wanted to keep everyone out for the next night.
Yeah,
So a Rikishi spot would have worked.
Rikishi's spot would have
We
been
knew
the
he
best
was there
bet,
because he was
honestly.
bloody Hall of Fame.
And that's what
Yeah.
made me thought, as he didn't come out, something might have happened the second night with Rikishi. But
Nothing at all. Yeah.
I think Keisha's done in terms of doing some stuff within a ring now, if I'm honest.
I don't know after today's. I'm
I was
not
about to
sure.
say, after seeing the tweet you put out today, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he's. I think we will be seeing him.
I think it's Keish just trying to stay relevant, if I'm honest. But hey ho. Jay Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi beat Damage Control. Not actually sure if that's the right one to do for storyline, but there we are.
It was just they needed to make their mind. We said about it in the review. What just happened? It needed to happen that way.
Jade, I suppose Jade has to have the win. I don't know.
They need to push off what they can and to see what, if anything, is going to click. They need to try things, and it was the right time to do it.
Okay,
She's
but
protected with people there.
We also need some damage control on the fact of the losing streak for damage control. And it's a bit like they could have easily won this on the first night and then Io Sky lose on the second night, and that would have been fine.
I'm just going to break down the teams a little bit. So we've got Bianca Belair, who's feuded with Damage Control for like the last 2 years. So it makes sense that she's there.
Yeah, but
You've got Naomi, who's Bailey's friend, like legitimate friend outside of the business as well. Just come back, saw everything that was going on, jumped in to try and make the save, and is now involved because of that. So that made complete sense. Jade is a flavor of the month that needed to be in a spot on Mania.
Yeah,
that's the breakdown of that team.
She needs to be with two people that would cover up.
That can cover, carry her, not cover her.
And they're two good people that would do that.
Yeah. In my opinion, this is going to break down into two separate things anyway. Jade's going to go off. That's the end of her within this rivalry. But I do think that we are going to get Naomi and Bianca going for those tag titles from Kabuki Warriors.
And that's fine. That bit's fine. So in terms of them getting that win there is fine. I don't know, there could have been a different way to do that and then have Jade Cargill win a separate singles match, perhaps. Even a squash match. Give her a squash match on Mania. I don't know.
Do you know what? I just thought about something that's quite ironic. Is ironic the best word for it? I don't know.
You let us know and we'll tell you.
Naomi going for a tag title run.
This is quite funny. Yeah, it's quite funny. Ironic. I don't know if. I suppose it is. Yeah, she threw the belts back in WWE's face and left.
Yeah,
it's
she never
a weird
lost
one.
them, so
Does kind of make me think that there was someone going, "This is what we should do."
I mean,
let's dangle them in front of you to show you what you gave up.
We could have had Asuka versus Kairi Sane. That could have even been for the titles at Mania. Asuka and Kairi Sane against Bianca and Naomi. That could have been for the titles.
I could have seen
they could have actually, which caused them to retain, and then Bianca and Naomi win it later on down the line, and have Jade Cargill have it a squash match, which gives her win, because Bianca doesn't actually need a win at any point at the minute. She's still the top level of the women's rosters.
I'll be honest,
Naomi is still going to be there or thereabouts, but I think if we end up with a mid-card, I think she's perfect for a mid-card run of North American standard.
I would have loved to have booked it as there was interference on a tag team match then, that night at Mania, and that's when Jade Cargill gets unveiled to us.
Yeah.
And people are going like, okay, right.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
We could build something here.
I don't mind that, but it's the one for me here that I was just a bit like, oh, it's a shame for Damage Control that
it was so obvious
that they took 2 losses in a row, essentially. One night 1 and one night 2. They could have had a win and a loss.
It was very obvious.
Even if it was a dodgy win.
I mean, I can kind of see them working in the whole, they've just turned on Bailey, they kicked her out. Maybe she was that deciding factor that helped them get the wins, because she was there, she interfered a lot, and she was a big part of Damage Control. Now we haven't got Bailey. We got to go back to the drawing board. How do we start winning again? What's it going to take for us to turn this losing streak around?
Yes, I agree with that. And that's the way it's being portrayed. But at the same time, it just makes them look like morons that they've
Honestly,
both lost the second that Bailey's left.
I think you're going to see the Kabuki Warriors as a tag team. But I think Damage Control is going to be faded out very soon.
Which means Dakota Kai will be gone within the year.
I think they're going to fade the faction out and the Kabuki Warriors. They've still got the Kabuki Warriors name. They're going to carry on with the Kabuki Warriors.
I don't know,
I mean,
because
you could keep Io as not Io, sorry, Dakota as a mouthpiece, like we were saying before.
well, this is it. This is where I was going to go. Kabuki Warriors obviously originally had Paige as a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So Dakota Kai working as a mouthpiece for them still works. What about Io though?
I think they're going to
You
have
think
the
they're just
air
gonna get rid
around
of
us. No, I think. Do you know what? As a solo, she done really, really well. The mouthpiece is the problem, but I think they could still give a little push, and maybe I think we could see a rematch, have a little bit more of a feud with Bailey. They didn't show enough. Maybe extend that a bit more and have these two have a
So
bit
you
of a
think they'll
rivalry.
just leave them as a stable as they are? They'll just change the name from
I
from
don't
Damage
think
Control
you'll.
back to Kabuki
I can see
Warriors.
this part of the draft, and you'll see Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky on separate brands.
That I can see. That I can see.
Yeah, okay, that could work. But then again, at the same time, it's like, oh, why give them the loss? I don't know.
Right.
Right, ready?
Mhm.
Yes.
Right, Sami Zayn, Gunther next. I was surprised.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
surprised.
I was surprised they took it off of Gunther.
I thought there was more legs in this story before any title changes happened. Honestly. But hey, we'll see what happens. I think it's not going to be the end of Gunther involved in the title story yet, shall we say.
Yeah.
This is it. Like you said, Gunther is likely to move on to bigger and better things. He's gonna work his way up to the main title picture.
That's
He's
the
not
thing.
gonna go
I
straight
think he
in. He's not gonna go
will.
straight
Yeah.
in.
The title picture's
Seven.
too busy up there. Too busy there at the minute.
Wow.
me.
Wow.
With Seth taking time out.
Not if
with
there's three
Roman.
titles that they're considering all on the same level.
Yes, this is the thing.
There's going to be a shuffle.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This draft did change absolutely everything. The draft announcement.
Yeah, and as long as it is an actual like draft, and I mean having Ava Rain there was interesting from last night. So
Yep.
it does.
They all
It does
do
make a
seem.
difference.
They all seem like they're on their level now. I've noticed that Ava was been around Adam Pearce quite a lot, doing like it was even for the Rumble doing the number draws. They've tried to elevate it bit by bit. So I can see a level playing field now.
Yeah. Where am I? Oh, main event time. Bloodline defeated Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Night one. Ding to you two. Very loud. Well paced. We did mention on the what just happened. Well paced match. Allowed Rock plenty of time to not look gassed at any point.
Hold the story perfectly.
Hold the story. Right decision for the story.
Yeah.
Leaves us with the Rock with a pin over Cody Rhodes.
That told
I'm
a
just
lot.
remembering you're fired.
Yeah. The thing
Yeah.
is that Rock showed the story with the authority that he's got. And that's what they're pushing, and that really needed to go across well. And do you know what? Hats off to the refs in this, because they tell us as much of a story on pretty much all these matches than the wrestlers as well. They tell the story perfectly as well. Key bits over this weekend. Some points the refs were key moments for storytelling.
We did basically
Yeah.
say night one we got a bloodline rules match without the stipulation.
Well, one of the things that they've changed as well is something that they implemented during the Vince's, not during Vince's time, was that they stopped talking about referees and who they were or
Yeah.
giving them personalities or anything like that, and just made them just part of the cog. Essentially,
Yeah.
they weren't a character; they were just part of the cog. They seem to have reversed that and started making the referees become part of the character, part of the story again. Like the
Yeah.
referees are being given their names again. They're being told who they are during the matches. So we are getting that. So
Good.
well,
I think soon. I remembered one of these points yesterday when they were talking about referees having personalities. The last one I can remember that really done well with it was Nick Patrick, and he was always seemed to favour the heels, and I think we're going to start to get that again. You're going to get these refs that kind of the heelish side to the referee, and I think it was done really well.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need loads of them. We don't need people quite to the degree of Nick Patrick.
No, because he was very much one side.
But yeah, even if we end up like with a referee like Earl Hebner used to be, when he used to stand up for himself when he got pushed around and
Little Nature's
just give them that personality again that's been missing. And not even that, just to be able to give them their names again. I think. Give them that little bit of respect for the work that they're doing, because the referees are really important within a match. Like they're the people that keep the wrestlers safe at the end of the day. They're very, very, very important people, and for them to not even be allowed to be named on TV, I always thought that was a bit of a horrible thing to happen. So the fact that that's been reversed, I'm very happy about.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I got the logic of it though. I did get the logic of it.
I think people got to realise when we went to Cardiff, people like Little Nate were over. He was such a big draw for fans to have photos with, and I think they've gone, do you know what? People do recognise these referees, and they do see them as a character. So let's give it a little push.
But Little Nate has been a character since WCW.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But then they tried to take that away. He was just a generic referee for a while, and it's now right. Okay, let him have their little spot back.
I think he is the head referee now as well. There is Little Nate, so he's a
we had nothing to do until the main event this year.
He's a bigger deal than most.
I don't think they. I might be wrong, but I don't think there was a referee, two referees for this. A referee done double duty at all this weekend on Mania.
I don't know about it.
There probably was, but let's talk about the fact of referees feeling rather not important in the main event of that night to being very needed in the opening matches of night 2. Seth Rollins lost to Drew McIntyre. Outright lost. And it was a good match, in all fairness.
Clean.
A really good match.
Yeah.
It was clean as well.
The little nod at the end. They paid their respects at the end.
They did.
He said
that moment. He looked at him through the ropes as Seth was on the ramp, and they had it's your turn. Well done.
Yeah, there was a little thank you.
I think it was. I think he said it was. I've seen bits of it. I think you were right.
Yeah.
Or you deserved it. He was swore at him about something.
Yeah.
There was knowledge there.
And it gave the chance for Seth to step away for that for a little bit. Nicely, actually, the way they did it. Because it means that any time he needs that, Seth can step straight back into that world title picture.
Oh yeah.
Without looking poor.
Yeah. And you know what? The next bit that happened really made me happy. For one reason. I know we spoke about Drew and this heelish gimmick, and we were like, is it just for this, or are they going to carry it on? He carried on playing the heel for a few more minutes, which ended up costing him. And I really like the way that happened.
Part of him going and celebrating with his wife and brother. I was like, that's not very heelish.
No, the heelish bit afterwards with Punk, and I'm like, do you know what? I was worried they were going to drop this heel gimmick. I think they're going to completely run with it, and it makes sense. It helps Drew.
I still don't completely consider Drew a heel.
Well, I think he is
doing or saying,
but he's
but
even if he's not
trait now.
Even if he's not, he is the biggest hypocrite in WWE at the minute, because he moaned. You'll hear why, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. He moaned at Seth for not concentrating on the title and not being taking his title seriously enough, and getting distracted by Cody Rhodes and the Roman stuff. For him then to get so tied up and emotionally attached to CM Punk, that's
the story they've built with that 100%. And
it's
this
100%
is what
what
Punk
happens.
will bring up. Punk will bring that up. You were concentrating on me.
It's 100% the way they.
He'll say you concentrate on me that much. That cost you. And this is where they're going to go now constantly. And every time you'll have Punk kind of screwing Drew over until they're ready to face off.
He hasn't practiced what he preached even slightly with it by getting so emotionally attached to Punk, who was supposed to be injured, and he's not, which was good. I mean, Punk's Punk's going to be back soon enough, so we're going to end up with Drew versus Punk. But yeah, that Punk attacks Drew. Drew gets cashed in on by Mr. Money in the Bank, Senor Money in the Bank, or whatever we're calling him. Damian Priest, and now we have a new world champion. Again, 9 seconds in that match it took.
Yeah, it was. I think Drew was the champion for all of 5 minutes and 40 something seconds.
And 4 minutes 51 of those seconds were berating CM Punk.
Yeah. Well, celebrated with his wife and brother first.
And CM Punk couldn't hear a word he said, which I found was really funny.
Yeah.
I can't hear what he's saying. I'm wearing cans.
Do you know what? Fantastic storytelling again. Story writing and storytelling again was absolutely amazing for that. Just that little segment there, done it perfect. I'm really excited with this storytelling at the minute.
Yeah. I'm not convinced about what's going on with CM Punk's injury. Like, I know he was still in the brace at Mania. We were told he wasn't referee because the injury was still there. Knowing just from general knowledge, really, of how long those injuries normally take to heal, he's still nowhere near ready.
No, but I get this, and I think you're going to have Punk tormenting Drew, costing Drew, and there's going to be no actual build. There's going to be no actual
touching
build
Drew
off to this
Punk
until they get together, and I think it will be involved at Clash, maybe a triple threat.
Quite possibly.
I think that's long enough for Drew for Punk. Then
I'm not shocked
I
if Drew's not even in a title picture at Clash. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Him and Punk,
and it's just a one-on-one with Punk.
I see Punk not wrestling again till Clash, and it will be involved with. He'll be wrestling Drew in some form.
Like it'd still be, a main event level match, but I can fully imagine it to not be a title match.
NXT Championship.
It's unlikely for Punk, though, isn't it?
It's wide open.
I say if we do go to these having the three brands, then we've got 3 titles available, and Dragunov could do something.
I'd like to see
NXT
keep the takeovers and things, though. To be honest with you, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't think that's where it's going, though.
Yeah.
I think
you'll see them involved in the main normal pay-per-views.
If they get pushed to the third brand, then it makes no sense to have takeovers, to be honest.
Otherwise, if that does happen, you're going to have Raw and SmackDown split pay-per-views again, which I'm not a fan of.
I couldn't think of anything worse for the company than having Raw and SmackDown separate pay-per-views. I think the idea of having both on one is always has been better.
If NXT were a standalone brand, it would be a disservice to them to not have them in the main pay-per-views with the other two.
Yeah, it then limits it down to a lot. The only thing that I would say, yes, I didn't like the brand specific pay-per-views either. But if they start doing pay-per-views on separate days, it wouldn't be so bad. Or even if they had twice as many pay-per-views, it wouldn't be so bad. The issue when they did the brand specific pay-per-views was they did one every 4 weeks.
Yeah. So you only got to see Raw ones.
Yeah, you'd only get one every 2 months. And it was just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind if we ended up with one every
2 weeks.
2 or even just go to 3, and
yeah,
we end up with some months where we end up with having 2, even 3 matches. Because it could be 3 matches. Couldn't it?
If you go for one every 2 weeks, it's literally 6 weeks build for all 3 brands. It's still a fair.
If you're doing brand specific things,
The thing is, would it turn into then as more just little specials every now and again, like NXT were doing, than actual PLEs? I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We're fantasy booking
we are.
a problem that doesn't exist. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do go that route. And
I think coming back to it, I think McIntyre walks out as champion out of Glasgow. I just do. I don't see him not and having 2 UK pay-per-views where he doesn't.
Hold on. When is Money in the Bank?
After.
Right.
Is it after?
It's
I thought we had Money in the
after.
Bank
It's,
before.
it's after Glasgow. It's
Yeah, I
100%
think
after. I
Canada
was looking at them
this year.
yesterday.
It is. It was moves the camera in between. I
It's,
remember.
it's literally the next one after,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been good for him to be Mr.
Because-
Briefcase and cash in on that night as
That's
well.
also where we've got the same weekend. We've got the Heat Wave. I think it is for Money in the Bank for NXT.
NXT Heatwave, yeah.
Yep.
Obviously the night before. Oh yeah. Oh no. NXT's Sunday night. NXT Sunday night, not the pay per view. Not Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank Saturday night, which is quite good. I like that.
Definitely could
But
be.
it is a late one again because it's in Canada, isn't it? That one. It's just one of the few.
One of the
in
few.
next several that's back at late times for us in the UK.
We're doing
Yeah,
well.
We've got a lot of early pay-per-views coming up.
daytime.
Yeah,
We got
which is
a
nice.
lot. We have got a lot of our daytime PLEs coming up.
Exciting times ahead, though.
We're being
Exciting
treated.
times.
We also
It's nice.
we also have a lot of. I don't know where I'm going with this. We have a lot of tables. Bubba Ray Dudley became a special guest referee for the next match at
No,
Mania. I don't know where I was
happy
going
to
with
hear
it.
Bubba's
Couldn't think of what
music.
else it'd be.
Because that
So
was
random.
there weren't many complete surprises.
We got a
Bubba
lot of
Ray
Dudleys.
was a
Why didn't I say a lot of Dudleys? Because there
Bubba
was so
Ray
many
was a
of them in
complete
ECW.
surprise. We didn't get many of them, so I'll take
There's
this one.
Dudley over here. Yeah, I think having Bubba as
Dudley.
a surprise guest ref in this match was a great call.
And it
Very cool.
elevated the match massively.
It did. He added a lot to it. I think this is a match that most of us went.
It wasn't until I heard the street fight and I went, okay, that's interested me a bit more.
Yeah,
When Bubba came out, I was like, okay, now this has turned up to a really exciting match for me.
That was the weirder bit. It wasn't announced as a special guest referee until Bubba just appeared.
I love the
wasn't.
surprises like that.
It
They're
was just
WrestleMania
like- I
moments.
was just like I
How
would.
funny would it have been if he'd just gone up to him like after Hall of Fame or something and gone, I want a Mania. I want
No,
a
because
match.
I think I
want the
prefer the
surprises.
way they
That's
did
what
it.
happened.
I want the
preferred that's the way
surprises and I love it.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying if maybe that wasn't planned until literally Hall of Fame. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It wouldn't shock me if they had planned that on the day.
because
Yeah.
I'm hearing that Steph wasn't originally planned as well to to announce the Welcome to WrestleMania either before the show. So
I think that was probably more planned than people realised. It was definitely it wasn't booked. It was always listed as a Triple H segment. Triple H was supposed to come out, but she probably had spoken to Paul Hunter,
husband.
whatever we're going to call him.
said, I fancy it, babe. Do you want to let me? And he goes, yeah.
not even
As long as you
necessarily
use
that.
my gimmick.
Probably the other way around. It was
I reckon
probably
he
him.
said,
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
100%. 100% was what happened.
But like it's a conversation that stayed behind closed doors essentially, and
But he brought her home anyway, and that was a nice surprise, a nice Mania moment.
it was
Yeah,
nice
it was.
to see stuff.
We actually started
she
with
looked great.
Just threw a dart flat on the floor. We started with a Mania moment, which was awesome because we had Bugger on the day before.
Yep.
LA Knight, AJ Styles. I tell you what, all these Mania moments made this match feel decent.
It did because I think
Everyone
it was
was
all in a
on a
better
high.
mood
Yeah.
by the time this happened, and
We'd had a cash in,
don't get me
we'd
wrong,
had Bubba
the
Ray Dudley,
whole-
we'd had tables, we'd had Steph back, and then LA Knight, AJ Styles came on. We were like,
the
let's do it.
the
Why
whole
not?
the whole entrance here for LA Knight coming out talking about the car that he was going to give away and stuff was a bit weird.
Yeah,
So-
that woman didn't want to be there.
was
She just wanted
awful.
the car.
She just wanted the car. She wanted money, basically. But you know, we got over it. AJ Styles had new entrance music, new entrance style,
Be
everything
interested to
else.
see if he's keeping that or if that was just a Mania moment.
It's possible it was just a Mania one, but yeah,
I hope he keeps it because I like the new tune.
I think the new tune will stay personally because it was still his tune, but it was like a remix version, wasn't it?
But
So I think it's staying.
For a heel AJ Styles because I like that. I like
Yeah.
heel AJ
Yeah.
Styles.
Match itself was actually
good.
really good.
It was really
Yeah,
good.
I think we all enjoyed it. Like,
They let them wrestle because they're both
Yeah.
good wrestlers.
yeah, I think none of us had any expectations for the match. We all were sort of like, yeah. You know, the build's been pants. AJ's been irrelevant. LA Knight's getting
That
a
pains
bit
me to say,
the
yeah.
point where we're all a little bit bored of him.
I thought this whole match would just be to push LA Knight up to the fans, get him a fan pop again, try and elevate that. But they got that done and had a decent match.
Hell,
Yeah,
this
I
was
think-
another.
I think we all kind of went, okay, Okay,
Yeah.
we're semi interested in these guys again. It definitely over delivered from what we expected. So
And
do
again,
you know
right storyline told, right result. So.
a lot of people I asked for feedback on Mania and just asked what they thought, and not one actually I reckon 90% of them have come out and said, and the AJ LA Knight fight was much better than they
better
thought
than
it
they
was going to be.
expected.
You were
Yeah.
100% going to say AJ Lee, wasn't you?
I was
I
going
thought so.
It's because I just read an AJ Lee thing. Punk has said,
Oh, okay.
just saying how fantastic it would be to have her involved again because
Of
she was
course it would.
asked.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many people that don't think that.
Right. I had a little bit of a segment when earlier
Okay.
on in the
You did.
podcast.
I heard you. You was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
I suppose iShowSpeed is actually signed with Prime now.
Okay.
There's actually adverts and stuff of him signing with Prime.
Made sense for the
I'm
weekend,
assuming
kind
it's
of
signing
thing.
with Prime, but it's Speed, KSI, and Logan covered in Prime stuff, which would make
Made
complete
sense
sense.
for what happened.
But
the
what
weekend.
happened with iShowSpeed dressing as a Prime bottle?
Also, we've had
It was weird.
Cody sign. We had Cody sign with him over the weekend.
Cody signed with Prime. Yeah, that was even weirder.
First wrestler to do so.
I get that one though, because like Cody can say, "Hey, Prime's really good with my vodka," but
It helps him
Logan
out.
Paul and KSI can't the other way say vodka is really good with our Prime because that then brings that into a different category of drink.
No, that
But
makes
Cody
sense.
can
for
say,
the
"Hey,
weekend.
look, use Prime as my beverage for my drink." I was like,
Cody's
I like
smart.
this. I like this for a business acquisition. The SP signing, big one for Prime,
Yeah.
big one for Logan, and I feel like we should mention it. The Prime sponsorship was fine, wasn't it, guys?
It
was
when I
just
first
it was
said
fine.
I'll be honest, I straight away went, oh, that's a bit big in the middle of the ring. It's clear, but and you pointed out, everyone else was like, you all said it's not too bad
I
as
didn't
long
think
as
it was
it's
that
not.
big.
I thought it was first of all from the pictures we see.
Yeah.
It was the overhead shot, but like, I think you brought it up.
I
Dan,
did. Fourth
halfway through the night.
I think it was third or fourth match in of
you went, everyone has it made that much of a deal? And we all kind of
realised you hadn't
didn't even
been looking
realise
at
that
it.
we hadn't paid attention. It was there because they on the turnbuckles they've got them there. I said hopefully that's where they were going to be. The one in the ring, you kind of you kind of glossed over it. It was fine.
I think so.
Do you know what? I thought it was the least distracting advertisement of the whole weekend, and there was loads.
You're 100% right. Link couldn't stop talking about dude wipes.
Because they were in your face everywhere we looked.
Or we couldn't talk about the cats on talking about the fact that there was that whatever the white sponsor was that was sponsoring the match.
I'm
It's like an insurance.
Gin
Yeah,
and juice.
on night one,
Oh,
and it looked like there was a red
yeah.
triangle,
Yeah,
which
it
made it
was.
look like it was a player marker for whoever was stood on
I hated
ringside.
that one.
But
I
it was
hated that one. That was the only one of the weekend that was distracting.
It was
the
the
one
least.
I'm
saying, like-
yeah. Even dude wipes we see on every single time, and we spoke more about dude wipes than ever before.
I mean, it's good for them.
Yeah,
Bad for the
But
company, I suppose, for WWE,
Prime was
really.
the
But
least
well,
distracting.
No, I don't think it was
Good for that-
distracting.
good
It was,
for
it was,
business.
yeah, we spoke about
Yeah.
it, but I don't think it was distracting.
But
No.
the Prime
The
was
white one was distracting.
Thank-
That was the
thank
only one of
goodness.
the whole weekend that took away from the match, in my opinion.
It was
So
a big,
that
it
was
was
a
a big,
plus.
it was a big talking point we had coming in, and again, we left.
We
with
were
a,
all worried.
We left with a positive. It's one of those. It's like, yeah, I could get past the fact that I'm not paying attention to it. Prime's about anyway in the company, so why do I care that it's being sponsored? It's being advertised.
They were just non-distracted adverts, which were fine. They weren't taking the stuff away.
And I mean, hopefully they keep the logos keep them in the same way for future pay-per-views.
I don't want them any bigger
if they
or
start
any different.
fiddling
No.
about with them for each one, then I think it's going to become a mess, and then I think that
At the
will be
minute
where
it
it becomes an
works.
issue. If you keep it clean, keep it tidy. They had the WrestleMania bottle. They had the WrestleMania logo next to it. That was good enough. That was fine.
Yeah.
That worked, and it was promoting their new bottle.
Done.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One colour. Lovely. The match itself, though, boys and girls. Did it again. Sorry, Titch.
It was.
It's almost like an instinct thing.
I'm one of the boys now.
You are one of the boys. You're
you know what?
stuck.
They were really good.
boys.
It set off a perfect way because we were all smiling and laughing while the entrances were still on, and it set us up for we're on a positive for the whole match.
Link had a proper giggle at watching Randy Orton
Nearly stuck it on that car.
Nearly stack it.
Slow
Yeah, it comes
down.
straight
Off
off
the
the golf cart that Kevin Owens just launched down the ramp instead of letting him do his pose, because he was clearly meant to be able to do a pose there.
They've
No.
really shown Randy Orton in that comedic light. They've let him his natural comedy come through a bit recently, where he walked down to the ring and he's put on a bit of weight, and he tapped his little belly himself, saying he's putting on weight, and then the slow down bit. He's got a comedic side about him, and they're showing it now.
He's old man Randy mode at the
Yeah.
minute, and I
He's
think it's
himself.
brilliant.
Yeah, he's
Well, by
enjoying
myself.
himself as well.
He's not running the character. He's not the legend killer. He's not the apex predator. He's himself.
Yeah, and it's good. I've enjoyed it.
He's Randall
This is
Keith.
it,
Randall Keith. Randall Keith.
No.
He's at a point in his career now where he can go, I'm just gonna do what I want, and
He's
he can get
having
away
fun.
with it.
He's having
like,
fun, and
He would
I've
just get
had-
away with it as well. It's a good
I've
point.
had
Like,
the
they ain't gonna get rid of him.
storybook
He can do what he
career. I've
wants.
put the grind in. I've built the reputation. I've got the respect.
the thing
I'm
is, yeah,
just
as I say,
gonna have fun with it now.
he's earned respect not only from the fans, but he's earned respect from the man that's running the company now.
Yeah.
From Trips, he's earned that respect from him.
I'll be honest, whatever Randy does for the next 5 years is going to be whatever Randy wants to do, because Randy is earned
Pretty
that
much.
because he got stuck with Matt Riddle for 2.5, like a year and a half.
The only thing that I don't see Randy being able to just go, yeah, I want to do this,
Is a
is
title.
to just win the title.
He won't
Yeah.
get a title. He won't get a
I
title.
don't think
but-
he'll want that.
I'm not
yet.
saying he won't win
Yeah.
another title.
Yeah,
Just-
but he's.
It'll need to make story sense.
And also
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't see him necessarily wanting to have the titles at all times. You know, like he's enjoying that
He's
role
having
that he's
fun.
got.
There's less pressure in there, like
Yeah.
lower down on the
Like an
card, I
older
guess.
Randy, even and again as he's in this match, an older Randy wouldn't have gone on the Logan Paul podcast having a laugh, praising different wrestlers from the company. I thought that was it sort of shows where he's at as a person for the last year and a half.
To be fair, even the comedic side of the SmackDown before, chasing Logan Paul around on the go-kart set, little things like that, it's just funny to watch, and he's enjoying it.
I think
Kevin Owens, what a person to do it with as well.
I did watch his entrance back, and you were saying he was supposed to have done that pose, and you can see as he gets up on the back,
goes to start
his
setting out,
arms go
and he goes,
up,
"Oh no!"
and then
Yeah.
Kevin takes off. He's like, right, I'm holding on.
It's
You can
brilliant.
see.
He told him to
he's
see. He
supposed-
put his
He
arm
goes
over.
to-
Told him to slow down, and Kevin just never did. So
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh,
No.
well."
No, Kevin's like, no, you take too long. We're going.
I'm enjoying his stuff, and like I said, what a way to start off the match. We were all laughing and smiling about the entrance,
We
which made it a lot easier.
we mentioned we definitely mentioned it on the what just happened as well. But the match itself was really well structured, really well
Yeah.
scripted.
It was good.
Logan Paul winning. I can't believe I'm saying it in 2024, but Logan Paul beating Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. It made sense. He was the right one. It's not as though he completely battered them with a with
took
the
the
knuckle
battering.
dusters either. Yes, knuckle dusters took part, weren't the sole thing for the match,
No.
and he deserved to keep hold of the title.
It's made sense, like you said, storytelling. The other guys
Yeah.
don't need it. They're really gonna. Yeah, they've got respect for each other. They were gonna want each other to do really well and put on the best show, and it put on a great show.
Yep, 100%. Bailey, Io Sky,
Great match.
about
It was a
time.
very good
About
match.
time.
Great
Two
match.
talented people. Io Sky doesn't get the credit for how talented she really is.
I tell you what, I'm going to give this match an accolade that I don't think we've said yet. Technical match of the weekend.
I think it was.
Possibly. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch as much of this match as I should have done because I was catching. I got so far behind and got so excited and involved in like the Philadelphia street fight and the cash-ins that I was trying to do our editing for our TikToks. But this is the one where I sort of was like, well, I need to sacrifice a little bit because otherwise I'm going to be going to bed at 8 o'clock in the morning here, and I can't afford that.
It was a great
And I was
match.
like, well, I'll sacrifice it a little bit, try and keep it on it. But yeah, it was. When what I saw, it was
I know.
bloody good.
Yeah,
I know.
technical match of the weekend. I'll give this one,
Fast
because
paced as well.
Honestly, they were both women fully just put it out there and went for it, and it was very, very, very solid all the way through from start to finish. I don't think either of them really put a foot wrong.
I think this is what makes
perhaps-
me think that it's not the end of these two going at it because they've done that well. This is going to carry on for a little bit.
What's
But
it?
it's singles, just them two.
I don't know if you were the same, like when sorry, excuse me. when Io come out and Dakota and the Kabuki Warriors come out with her onto the top of the entrance ramp,
Mm.
and then they just
They
disappeared.
just left.
Yeah,
That's
they
happened a
just
few
left.
times
So,
before, though.
you know, there was
that's
moments
weird.
throughout the match. I'm thinking,
When are they
are
going
they
to
coming
appear?
back out? And
Yeah.
it was that anticipation and waiting, like, oh, hang on, they could show up here. They could surprise us, and
Right.
there's something gonna happen.
I think the only problem with that
And it
is
never
if they
happened.
did, we knew Bailey was going to get the win. If
It
they
was
did, it would have
predictable in
made them
that
look
front.
very weak. If they all got involved and Bailey beat them all, they would have looked very weak, all of them.
Yeah,
I
damage
mean,
control.
if they all, well, it's not even just that. If they all got involved, then we'd still end up with Naomi, Bianca, and Jade
Exactly.
coming out from the
They
night
didn't
before as
need
well.
that. That would
And
take
then
away
it would
from the
just
two
it
in
would
the
take
ring.
away from exactly that.
Yeah,
It would
just-
take away from what we're watching.
It didn't
and I
need
don't
that.
think it needed any of it.
Yeah.
They put on a good show. Let them have their moment. They got their moment.
Yeah.
But it would have also
Yeah,
been
yeah,
it'd have also been the female version of the main event as well if they'd done that.
Which they didn't need yet.
They didn't need it too much in a
Yeah.
row.
I just
But
thought
for me, it was nice having that second guessing, like, are they gonna
Oh, yeah,
come out?
definitely.
No, they didn't need it, but
Yeah.
like there was always that possibility.
I just
and
hope
that was nice.
I just hope a
Also,
lot of people realise
go on.
now how good Io Sky is as a wrestler.
She's
Also,
absolutely
on
fantastic.
pretty much on that exact same note, to the one fan that got himself thrown out, can't wrestle.
What?
You
You're
missed
a
a great
moron.
match.
Don't ever,
Fine.
ever go to another wrestling show. Just
Yeah.
go away and educate yourself somehow.
I'm glad he got thrown out, and I hope he does get
Awful
blacklisted.
humans.
One of the best events, one of the best matches of the weekend, to be fair.
Go and
Yeah.
go and explain to your mother and your father how you got kicked out of a wrestling event, but then also talk to them about how they're also brother and sister. I expect.
Yeah, look, you know, I've done it myself in the past, and been like, I'm not interested in women's wrestling, and there has been points where I've not been interested in women's wrestling.
But you've
That's
praised it
not
where it's
because
due.
women can't wrestle.
No, you've
You
praised
give
it
them
when
credit when they're
when
due.
it's
Yeah.
when it's deserved. It was by
Yeah.
far deserved on that match.
Yeah,
Right. I'm gonna say something that's gonna
Where'd you start?
that's gonna put no wow. I'm gonna say something that's gonna hurt me first before we start. Every single one of these matches was right storyline. Even this one.
It was. It was.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much, and Link agrees with me. That's the worst, but
I'm
he's
so
still my
happy.
tribal chief. But
It was.
it was totally right. I'm
Um,
sorry. It just.
Do you know
was.
what? I've never gone against him. When even the times where it's like, surely he can't do it again. Surely he can't do it again. Every time I've gone, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing it. Until now, it was just the right time.
okay, so we've already gave the results, so I'm just going to give you this straight away
Yeah.
as well. He tweeted out about an hour ago.
Right.
Roman tweeted in the gym working out, and his tweet was, "Yesterday I mourned. Today is day one."
I like this.
So
He's still going. He's still going to be there. There's still a story. I've said there's still the end of the stories that need to be told. There's too
There
many loose
needs
ends.
to be a fallout. There needs to be a fallout.
There's too
We're
many loose
losing it.
ends happening at the minute. Once they get tied up, maybe he's going to go away. Maybe he's going to give up. Maybe he's going to retire. Fully deserved if that's what he wants to do. But I think there's stories that need to be told
I
first.
think it's an
So-
open end, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think that's
I think we're done with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns
I think
because
we're done with
I
Cody
think
and
we're
Roman.
done with Cody Rhodes versus Roman
100%.
Reigns. There'll be no comeback from that. Cody last night's Raw admitted that Roman's one of the best. He said that
Yeah.
himself, didn't he, during Raw? And I thought that's lovely. That's a really nice touch. But I was also thinking at the same time, holy crap! Please stop talking like that. That means he's going to end up retiring,
No, I think
and I don't
there's-
want that.
there's a big-
Roman's brilliant, and
There's
people
a big
that hate on
Roman
him are
feud
just
still.
wrong and angry, and they don't understand that the heel can be your champion, even though you're supposed to boo him.
100%. Roman needs to have. There's stories that Roman needs to finish, and bits and pieces need to be done. But do you know what? Roman Reigns doesn't need to hold a title again. He's done this. No one's beaten this for a long, long time. He doesn't need that title picture.
Right, before we come back to Cody. Roman comes back. What do you do with him?
Easy. I see it as now for me. There's the story with The Rock that he needs to be finished, and that is it.
So are we talking?
It's not just The Rock.
Right.
It's not
This
just
is what I'm
no,
going to
the
ask. Are we?
bloodline.
Are we
That's the locker
talking?
room.
Are we
bloodline, yeah.
Are we talking Civil War?
Possibly, yeah.
And
And
disbanding
I think,
whoa,
and I
which edge
think it needs to happen. Everyone wanted Rock Roman at Mania, and they said it was spoke about. There'll be a big feud going on. It's going to be long-term building because neither of them are going to be around all the time. I can see next Mania without a title being involved, Rock Roman, and that will be the end of the Bloodline storyline. Whoever wins, it doesn't matter. The Bloodline storyline is done. Next Mania.
I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna.
mind that.
Okay.
Go on.
No.
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 Bad Dan and Pete. Come on, you need to have an answer though. Not actually think. Not just say
his portion of the Bloodline story is
no. You
done.
think?
My concern
That Bloodline
is-
story isn't ending anytime soon.
I reckon another year.
I'm talking decades. That Bloodline story isn't ending anytime soon. There is so many people within that Samoan dynasty
No,
that aren't even in the company yet that will end up here. There's so many people, even Jay's kids, Jimmy's kids, all the rest of it, that will end up in the Bloodline. So his portion of the Bloodline story.
Yeah. We're not disputing the fact that we're not.
Hang on. Let me finish. They will continue using the Bloodline gimmick for it, and it will continue to run through that entire family for years and years and years. Because why the hell wouldn't it? The same reason that Natalia still runs with the Heart Foundation style.
yeah,
That's because she's boring and can't come up with anything
I
else.
think what instead of actually the Bloodline storyline, what I meant for Mania is you will have basically it'll come down to a head of the table match kind of thing, and you'll have that will be the Rock Roman, and that will be the one. And after that, I could see them both. Well, Roman definitely just going. I'm now done. I've done what I needed to do.
But then we've got a new head of the table.
No, I don't think.
But if it's the head of the table
Roman
that then
will win it
leaves,
and then goes, Roman will do it.
we don't
and
need
go,
to worry about
"I'm
the hierarchy. They can all just coexist as a bloodline. Maybe not even as a stable. They can all coexist as their own entities, as well as, and then even maybe incorporating what we're saying about you, Link, or what you're saying, Link, is that that they then talk about the bloodline. The bloodline gets mentioned.
The bloodline will always be referenced.
Using the words, I don't know, like using Usan's words, things like that. That I don't understand what they mean, but that's their
tribal chief being brought back in years
things
to come. The name tribal chief being used
they
again.
mention to each other, and
yeah,
The concern I've got, I mean, I don't know if you've got the same thing. Like when Roman, he didn't leave, but like when he went part-time and he took his hiatus and, he took his time to go and be with his family. Solo kind of got lost in the shuffle.
I just don't know what he was still. He's
What
not
are you
been there
going to do
very
with
long.
him?
I think he's got a big part to play for the future.
I think this
Massive.
is Solo's year, if I'm honest.
I think he's got a massive part to
What
play.
would you do with him though?
Do you know what I'd honestly do? I'd honestly would leave. I'd have Heyman go to being a less of a wise man, more of not even an advocate, but more of like
A coach, like a life coach sort of thing?
yeah, I suppose so. An agent, a talent scout, and I'd have Braun, Breaker, and Solo Sikoa, and obviously that's why Solo and Paul would then step away from it, and you'd have Braun and Solo Sikoa as his, and that would be nuts.
I could see more boys being added very soon.
Not even tagging together. He would have two boys, and it'd be Solo and Braun.
Like you might agree, you might not. Like I can see Solo tagging with Jimmy because Jimmy is struggling as a singles competitor. He is. I'm sorry, he is.
Yeah.
Jay is thriving. Jimmy is struggling. So maybe Jimmy tagging with Solo.
I see Jimmy tagging with Jay again.
Yeah, 100%. I think
They need to put them back together.
Jay will do a couple more things. I think Jay even might do something with Cody coming up on the same side. Again, because that was fun, and I'll do that one more time, and then we'll end up Jay, and that may even be against Jimmy. In fact, actually, hadn't thought about it. And then
Brand split's going to mean so much.
and then we'll end up with Jay and Jimmy back together eventually.
Well, you've got Jay now pushing for Finn's for Damien's title. He's got a title match next.
Mental.
I'm going to be a little bit harsh here, I think.
You're going to say you're
And
going
I'm sure the comments are going to come at me about it. I think Solo is struggling. He has some very good moments, and when he does get those moments, he absolutely nails them. But he is very much just background guy. He's not done anything for a long time that's made him really stand out. His promo work's pretty minimal. His in-ring work is okay.
I think it all depends on a lot of what happens work, because we know the guys that are coming up, reportedly coming into the Bloodline storyline, are very good.
Yes, yeah, and that's why I worry for Solo. Honestly,
He might get overshadowed a bit because the other guys coming up are talented.
The new guys coming in are going to overshadow him straight away, and he's going to get back down again. But Solo, I believe, is one of the younger ones as well.
Yes.
Like, he's very young.
Not as young as you think he is, though, if I remember rightly.
I think compared to the others, he's still quite young.
He's like 7 years younger than the Usos.
Yeah, but he still makes him 30, 32, something like that.
Okay.
He's not as young as you'd like, shall I say?
He's good, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Solo kind of gets
Saying that though, you've got
not moved over, but kind of put into a side role and ends up. I don't see him ever going above the mid card. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if he ends up at sort of like the Rikishi level.
Even Tama Tonga and Tangaloa are 40 and 41.
Yeah.
So I can see them working with him, but it's going to be interesting.
I'd love to see him with
Heyman. I still want to see Bron Breakker. It was mentioned like a new version of Legacy.
I'd love both. What you'd
and both are still possible.
I mean that works with Bron Breakker still. That is Legacy.
Bron Breakker, a new version of Legacy.
Bron Breakker,
with a couple of others.
Solo Sikoa. He can still be Legacy, mate.
Yeah, it's true.
Technically, he is Legacy.
Yeah, Ricochet, bloody hell! Oh my god,
not Ricochet.
You imagine Ricochet with his dad.
Not Ricochet.
Right, and maybe fronted by Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. Talk about him more. How lovely was it to see the reactions from a lot of people for that? Like, I think there was a lot of genuine love for Cody about winning that title, and the fact of Roman genuinely seemed pleased that he's lost the title.
He smiled as he was pinned.
He knew it was going to be a fantastic moment. There was a smile. They've shown it. It was a smile. And I think it was more, do you know what? This is good. We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done well. And it's worked. It's gone right. And he knew that there was a massive moment that's just happened in history for the business.
Yeah. Well,
and he's key part of that.
They've told an amazing story.
How long has this story been going on for?
Build. It's not a short build.
Years.
Cody came back, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
So
2 years ago.
I think I've got another picture.
2 years ago against Seth, last year against Roman, this year against Roman. So this is the Mania backs.
But and like the addition of having Taker there, and Cena, and Seth coming back out of Shield, Rock being there, Solo interfering, Jimmy interfering, Jay helping out, still didn't overshadow the fact of Cody's moment, which is why for me it made it feel right.
I've never seen a man cry so much in one weekend. It was fantastic.
He's been an emotional boy.
Do you know what? I've got another picture. I actually saw a little comment. I thought I'd take that. And it's a picture of Brock Lesnar, a picture of Roman Reigns standing up with the title in his hand, Paul Heyman next to him raising his hand with a payback contract. And above it has gone, who would have thought on this night in August of 2020 that the next world champion would be Cody Rhodes. And I was like, do you know what? That's fantastic storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah. And
August
Yes,
2020.
I'm assuming. So August 2020 is when he won the Universal, right?
Yeah. When he the Universal Bray
Yeah.
and Braun.
Because obviously he then beat Brock in a
Yeah.
winner takes both, and
But when he
became
took-
the WWE title champion.
also
when he
the
took
month that Triple H took charge initially.
when he took that title, and it was like, do you know what? That's August 2020. That's crazy to think.
Yeah, and obviously that was the end of Bray's title run.
Yeah. And it seems so long ago, and it was.
Which for me though is the only reason that I don't want to hear the word Universal dropped from the belts
But
as
it
well.
was
'Cause
nice to
that's
know
part of
that-
that legacy.
Cody even mentioned the word Universal again.
Yeah.
So it seems like it
Eventually.
got dropped. But yeah, he's mentioned it again. So I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or what, but
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the end of the weekend for Cody, though, was it?
no. Nope.
Cody Rhodes did open Monday Night Raw as well, which was no surprise. What was a surprise though was the fact it was. Jesus, that was a noisy vehicle outside. That was the only time he was in Raw. He didn't come back out afterwards, did he? He had his segment at the start with The Rock,
They did say I kind of like that.
and then
I mean,
that was
Triple
it,
H
done.
opened Raw, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Triple
But
H did open Raw. Yeah, sorry, I forgot there was a segment there. But yeah, but then that went straight into then Triple H into the Cody segment,
Yeah,
into
that's
the
Cody,
The Rock versus
I
So it
really
was
like that.
one big hour because we had hours free from ads to
Yeah.
start off with.
Yeah.
Hour
You
free.
needed that moment with The Rock and Cody, but let's not forget Cody's got the SmackDown title, and I think if you had him too much, it would have taken away from Priest.
You say the SmackDown title. I don't think until the brands get defined that SmackDown has a title. To be honest,
Yeah,
with you,
all we know-
because Cody is a Raw superstar,
All we know
Yeah.
is
or
that
was a Raw superstar. So
all we know is that Cody and Priest won't be on the same brand for that
No,
split.
and Cody has said that he's on SmackDown as well as Raw this week.
I can see Judgment Day going to SmackDown.
I
As I
can see
think-
Judgment Day going the opposite place to where Damian Priest goes.
Yeah, and they'll have him step away from there. They really can.
That could be interesting. But yeah, the whole Triple H was great as per usual.
He named
Last
it the
night.
Paul Levesque era,
He did, but he did mention the fact he doesn't like it being called that.
but I think
Or
big
he
bit,
mentioned
I've
that
just-
in the press conference
No,
afterwards. I
I'll tell
can't
you what it
remember.
was.
He mentioned
It
it,
was-
at some point in the last sort
it
of
was
day.
him being introduced as Paul Triple H Levesque.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was very strange. Sam announced him as Paul Triple H Levesque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might not be, but I think that was the first time that he was
I
introduced
think
by
it was.
his real name rather
It
than
was
just
always
Triple
Triple
H.
H.
Which is
It humanized him actually as a leader
Yeah,
of the company.
Yeah.
it was his first. I didn't realize it was actually
hear
his
it. There's
first
nothing-
Raw in sole charge completely.
It's like
So-
humanizing Roman Reigns next.
So
He's
it might be a
human,
way
he's
of
my tribal chief,
Well, we can't call him Samoa Joe, whatever we do.
Samoan Joe.
He's the real
But,
Samoa Joe.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
The little twist they've made, the little changes they've made and tweaks over the weekend have been really noticeable. So I'm excited. There's a buzz about it. There was a buzz before Raw, the opening of Raw. Even the changes at the beginning to the opening of the shows, the little segment there, things
The
have been
Then Now
changed
Forever's
constantly.
changed, yeah.
The Avenger style thing, yeah.
And another thing that I think is going to change, it wasn't lost on me that I think something about Cody Rhodes being introduced by Triple H to then being interrupted by another of his bosses, The Rock. I think that's a slight foreshadow in there. I think there'll be a butt of heads eventually
You
with
did
Rock
say, yeah.
and Triple H.
A Survivor Series kind of thing.
Which would be mint, by the way. That'd be cool.
Yeah, especially if it ends up in a match.
Yeah, but I don't want Triple H in a match. That's my thing. I'd rather have
They're representative teams.
and it be an absolute, well, not even a bloodbath, but an absolute battering match. That'd be quality.
I'd be happy either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock did say, "Don't break my heart again." No,
Yeah, as
Cody
he
Rhodes-
handed him something which they didn't show us.
Which-
fairly,
which-
we know who it is.
fairly confident is that silver watch.
it's going to be
and
the
they
watch
got-
thing that's been mentioned.
and it was for all four of them. Like, it was mentioned that Cody and Seth bought watches, and we saw Roman wearing his at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and they did say that they'd bought one for someone else or other people as well. And we've not seen The Rock wearing one yet, so we've got a feeling it was probably that watch. Told him not to break his heart again as he passed him.
Sorry, yeah, but that leaves it open to then be like, yeah, it was something different though as well, which I quite like. It gives them a chance to go down a different route. If they want to change it, he did hand in something else, which is quite clever. Just seen something. I'm just making sure I've not missed anything on Raw. The "This is awkward" chants as they switch the People's Champs belt and the whatever Cody's name's what it. I gotta say it because Link will tell me off if I call it the wrong name. When they switched that, "This is awkward,"
Universal Championship
was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Did see though there was a report that beach balls were confiscated last night.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Because that's taken over Monday nights after Raws after Mania before, hadn't it?
Yeah, but the feel, the kind of feel, even to attempt to take him in, the kind of Monday Night Raw after Mania was Phil was back, and I think that showed in some of the chants.
The excitement was there.
There was a buzz.
Yeah.
So far, that is my favourite chant this year. I think this is awkward
This
because
is
it was almost as instantly as I was like, this is so fucking weird. And this is awkward. Yes, it is. You're damn bloody right. It is.
Actually,
you also had the shut the chant as well.
I still think my favourite comment from the whole night was, "Pat, get down. I don't want to die."
yeah, because Drew would come out for the main event of him doing the
yeet.
Since we're talking about everything that happened on Raw last night. Hello.
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 Glitch, the Flash.
Glitch.
I thought of somebody else that said hello, and that was really confused as to why they were being brought into a conversation on our channel.
Adele was not there.
It's not him.
Adele was not a Raw.
No.
But
no, it'd be a different colour.
There's a little tease. We thought it was a glitch first of all, and then someone said that there wasn't a glitch because the logo still stayed exactly the same in the top place of the corner, and then we saw the writing at the bottom. So. Yeah, they're teasing something again. It still seems very familiar.
Music playing ahead of time in the arena as well before the show started.
And they said it was on again at the beginning of once they cut away to the promo. That music was playing again, the sampled.
Right.
So,
but there was a bunch of interesting stuff that happened with Raw after Mania. Like I say, Uncle Howdy may be appearing, maybe not, maybe something different.
Yeah, we're all fairly sure it's a Bo Dallas tease.
But something's happening.
But I want Bo Dallas and Braun Strowman. I've said it. I said it the other day. And Link liked it.
I like it. I do like it. I just want to talk about this briefly because me and Pete had a conversation about it earlier.
Yeah.
On the subject of Bo Dallas, there is a YouTuber by the name of Dreadmare.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
watched, but yeah.
Dreadmare made some very, very interesting content. And they use mostly, I'm not going to say stock footage, but mostly WWE footage.
Yeah.
That they've then spliced in and put other effects and things with it as well.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So the things that he's saying are very open to interpretation.
Very cryptic, yeah.
They sound very much like Bo Dallas or Taylor Rotunda.
Yeah.
We have seen reports from Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp and several others that say it's a fan made thing.
They do kind of reference that themselves
using an AI voice. There's a couple of videos more recently where they basically argue with that and say no, it's not, blah blah blah. WWE are forcing Taylor to remove all of these and telling him he's not allowed to use them and all the rest of it. It's like Okay, at this point, I'm fairly confident it is a fan-made thing.
But they could
And the
easily.
fact that, well, there's also the fact that they're being brought. They seem to come out after announcements.
Right.
Yeah, very quickly done, but they are good, but they are after. So
They're very
you know.
look. They're so good. They're fooling people. It's that
They
simple.
are.
They are so good. They're fooling people. And honestly, if you just want to enjoy it, because
Go for it.
they are enjoyable. They are something that people are enjoying, and you know, I've watched them myself, and I enjoy them, even though I know that it's not a
Yeah.
legitimate canon thing.
They make you think, which
They
is good.
make they make
they
you
get
think
your
of
imagination
possibilities, options, opportunities.
Yeah,
Go take a look. Go take a look. Go check out that Dreadmare stuff. It is just remember, it's not legit.
But
your imagination does run.
Yeah.
Dreadmare's become such a big thing. I've still not bloody caught any of it, but it's become such a big thing. What if it started off as not a legit thing, and WWE work with it and roll with it and work with whoever runs Dreadmare?
I even said
That would be.
I said they must see
It's
ideas.
possible, completely possible.
I said Bo probably he must have heard about. Someone must have said about it.
Yeah, it'd just be
and he's.
Bo to left.
You know,
to work
I could
with
see
them.
him sitting there going, "Do you know, that's a good little idea."
Right up until some of the recent videos, and some of the arguments that he's had back against it not being him, and all the rest of it.
No, 100%.
And pretending, literally, it's fraud. Pretending to be him, and talking about his personal socials and all the rest of it. Right up until that point, I think they would have gone for it.
Yeah.
Once that point happened, I don't think WWE will work with him now, because it's a bit much.
I could see them watching it though and going, okay.
Oh yeah. No, I guarantee they've all seen it.
That'll get their minds running. That'll get their minds running as
guarantee they've all seen it, because it's such a crucial thing, and such an involved.
You know what, it's very well done, and the guy that's got it has got a good creative mind behind him. I think.
They've got a good 46,000 followers already, and they've only
15
put out 15 videos. So it's they're definitely drawing attention and drawing traction. But yeah, I just want to make sure that for anybody that's watching us, they know it's not real. As good as it is, and it's fun, and you should enjoy it. It's not legit. It's not Taylor. It's not Bo Dallas. It's not the family. But by all means, go and watch it and enjoy it. But yeah, I wanted to put that out there for people, because it is tricky people. It is tricky people.
We've had people tagging us in, putting bits in Discord, just going, this has appeared.
Yeah.
I got a question. Do you think if Bo comes back, do you think he comes back as a character, or that is Uncle Howdy? Or in my way, I would prefer it. I would like to be that Uncle Howdy becomes, rather than, because obviously he hasn't got brain anymore, the Fiend. I'd rather Bo becomes Uncle Howdy becomes a state of mind.
I was thinking about this, and there's going to come a point, if he goes back as Uncle Howdy, just as Uncle Howdy, there's going to come to a point where their story is done and it can't go no further. And I'm like, that's kind of going, once that's done, we can't go anywhere else. This is what happened before when they run out of ideas. If they had him as Bo, but then dropped it in every now and again, you've got a lot of possibilities. It can disappear for months at a time and then all of a sudden come back. Like you referenced, Dan, Finn and Demon. It's gone for now, but if they ever wanted to, it's there again. I like that.
I'd like him to do both. I don't want him to use the Demon style of thing.
No.
I want the Firefly Funhouse style. And even use the Firefly Funhouse itself.
So it's not
incorporate that into stories.
It's not a real person, and it's not even a real state of mind. It's somewhere in that weird zone point, like Firefly Funhouse was supposed to be all in Bray's mind, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but that would be the only place that we see Bo.
Yeah.
So when he wrestles, he would wrestle just. Or when he does come out, he'll just be Uncle Howdy. The actual the vocal side of it would all be within the Five Live Funhouse. And also, yes, I would like to see Braun Strowman included in that as well, and all of their segments be with Bo backstage in the Funhouse, not in the ring, not segments that are around the ring. Like,
I'll be honest, because otherwise there's only so much you can do before it does get boring.
That'd be my
and
only
people,
thing.
not
with that.
boring, but people start going,
Well, what else can you
this
do
again?
now?
And then it's like, then it's going to be like, right, we're done now. It's we've got nothing for you. That's what I don't want it to end up like. But it's going to end eventually.
It's going to happen with anything, of course.
Yeah.
It's everything runs its course. The beauty of the unknown really is that you don't know when its course is, and you don't know what new things they could add to it, and what new strings they could put in the bow. And it wouldn't shock me to see him have Alexa Bliss within that stable as well at some point. It'd be managed by Bo. Again, with that same sort of system, there's all sorts of different things that they could do with it.
The end of the day, there's people that weren't just Bray doing a lot of that imagination. He had writers there that worked with him, and they kind of knew where he wanted to go and what was coming up. And look, run with that for a bit. Get those creative minds again going. I'm sure they'll think of something.
Well, I mean, Bray was a prolific writer of stuff as well. Like, he's said several times he's got loads of ideas and things that he wrote down and put into place and did. He's going to have books and books of ideas and notepads and things that you can look through and go, hey, maybe we can try this. Maybe
all I would say is,
so
all I would want them to do is not rush it and just long-term storytell it, so it don't happen too quickly and fizzle out.
Yeah, I think they'll do well with it, honestly.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, finishing with talking about Bray when so many of us wanted to start with Bray being in the Hall of Fame this year, I think seems a really appropriate way to end our podcast today. There was a couple of other bits, but nothing major on Monday Night Raw. So I feel like more important to end talking on Bray and Bo and people. What could have been?
Times.
What could have been with that? But also the exciting times going forward that I know that Bray would have absolutely loved.
Right.
Going forward.
Yep.
Titch.
Bray would have told Bo what he wanted to do.
100%. He'll know. He'll have.
So Bo can pick that up, and he can carry on telling Bray's story for him as well, which is.
They had started that. And that was part of the plan. They were on their way back together and telling stories.
Yeah,
his legacy's gonna live on.
But Titch, thank you very much for joining us. I did notice you were getting very sleepy. It's been a long old podcast, and if you have got this far, holy crap, thank you very much. And Link's right. I think it is only appropriate for one last time that we finish the podcast by saying, please leave a like, share, subscribe. And we will catch you in the next one, but be sure to acknowledge your tribal chief.
Acknowledge him.
Remember
as well, yesterday I mourned, today is day one. Peace.